Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome to the Tales of Murkwatch. Today's session is session 10, The Nest of Greys. And as we have finally, we got Muffin joining us, and we're missing Pengus, but he will be coming along, I assume. Thank you guys. Let's go join our players right now as we drop into today's session. Thank you very much for the points, Muffin. Thank you for the raid. Appreciate you, friend. As always, where's my letter? Here's my thing. Right. Okay, so this is the problem when I have too much going on all at once. Right, unmute. Here we go. Does this work? Of course it doesn't work. Do you know why it doesn't work? You know why it doesn't work, video game? Thank you. Here we go. Never put points into Discord. That's all I'm gonna say. Hello. Hello, my players. Hello, friends. Hello.
Hello.
I think we're okay. I think we're all scaled properly on the PNG front. I think we are. Cool. Nice.
Probably.
We're missing Pengus right now, so we'll wait for him a little bit. Hopefully he'll be able to join us. Should my PC be visible? Yes, technically. I'm not gonna...
I would like to inform you that I'm actually maybe same size or taller than Shay, so I'm not scaled properly.
I don't think you're taller than me. I think you're
depending on how you're feeling and also how heavy that toad is that you have riding on your shoulder, I will agree.
Ring buddy.
Fair enough.
But also, I don't want to change it right now because it literally makes me go to another screen. This is the downside for having this system. It's a work in progress. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Today's session is, in case everybody is not curious or whatever it is, it's called Session 10, The Nest of Greys. Now, we last joined our party as they had found their new base of operations. The sweltering weather not taking the draining toll from them anymore as they entered this new space, specifically picked out for them by their new friend and companion, the Merchant King. He had been rescued by the party. In a sense, he found some sort of connection to you guys in a way where he was like, hey, you guys are you're very capable, and I kind of want to keep you around, especially considering this area is, you know, desolate and a nightmare to work in. He no longer has all the niceties that he was used to in his old days, and feels like basically keeping you guys around is a safe way to maybe ensure his valuables don't get taken from him again. Let's see, what else we got? So this strange, the strange mountain rocks, which seem to surround your view, seem to tower over you as the clear sky above you is met with the noise of animals and birds that you've not heard in such a long time, except for the echoing of those horrible crickets and toads from the swamp life that you were so used to in the Murkwatch. It seems miraculous that this place can even exist on this isle, until you see a small penguin creature waddling back and forth, chatting with a small mouse creature, and a large feathered bird creature snapping at fishes on the floor. We join ourselves with the new wagon coming into town, which now happens to be coming in here. Thank you, Vegas. So as you guys are on the wagon, literally carting yourselves in, I want to say, Bean, you weren't here 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Would you like to give a brief description on what Penenith was essentially up to for the last month?
Brief. Super brief.
It doesn't have to be
stuff.
super brief. You can go into as much detail as you like because you missed the session, but like let's say you don't have a 3-hour session to do that. You
Don't have a half an hour.
you have about half an hour, maybe 10 minutes.
Right. No. Not even that.
Yeah.
So Penenith, upon coming into Murkwatch, right, still driven by his need to find what happened to the wood elves that raised him, and specifically looking for Kythela, the the archdruid that had been his mother figure up until his disappearance and had given him the ring that helped him to transform. He went and sought out the archdruid that they learned of when they joined, when they landed at Murkwatch, and which was Tyria, the Tabaxi. So this was another first for Peneneth, meeting another new race that he instinctively thought he shouldn't trust, but he spent the month training with her, learning more what it was to be a druid and about his magic. And Tyria was particularly what's the word we used, not strict, but disciplined, right? And noticed that Peneneth was just so completely undisciplined and operated out of frustration and anger and fear. And so that was, she taught him and drilled into his head. Her parting message when leaving was to be careful with his magic and to not attach it to that frustration and those emotions. He asked Tyria if she knew of Kythala, and she had never heard of her, so he still has no idea. Shay, of course, had been keeping close to Peneneth the whole time, and when the whole band got in their wagons to go to the new place, to Hawk's Nest, Peneneth decided that he needed time. He needed time to think about what was going on, to process his emotions, to process his frustrations, and to think about the deep lessons that he learned from the Tabaxi Archdruid Tyria. And so he told the group that he wasn't going to go with them, that he would be behind, he would be a couple of days behind. But in fact, what our lovely little druid did was he had actually turned himself into a fly, so he could be the proverbial fly on the wall. And he just hid out in the back wagon. He stayed away from everybody. He needed time to be alone, and he loves Shay to death, but he needed some time so he could think about and formulate what all of his training meant and where he was gonna be. And I think that's that's about it, right? I think that's about it.
That's about it. So let's just say, for brevity, Peneneth revealing.
Not to mention that he kind of was also weirded out by what happened to him while he trained and the more he used magic.
Yeah.
That he needed time to process that.
So there is a definite change in Peneneth's appearance and in almost behavior, I guess. Like literally, Peneneth has grown up to it in a sense, in more than one way. We have Pengus in here now. Okay, you're in. You in, Pengus? You in? I'll just re-invite just in case.
Sure.
Okay, there we go. That should work. Oh my god, Pengus sounds good on Discord now. That's weird. Okay, so as you guys reach up to the gate, you see two guards, Greyhawk uniformed men and women, literally just standing there, giving you an eye over. Gates open up, and the wagon is taken inside. This area is freshly, you can smell timber, you can smell wood, you can smell pretty much nature being crafted, being molded in a way that you are familiar with. Being a part of the Empire, you know, these like not shanty towns, but these makeshift cities are crafted on, isles that are essentially, held together, especially here on Catatonia, because of the way the magic behaves and essentially eats away at anything that is not rock or something that's, harder than, I guess, say anything that's leaves, trees, seeds, etc. As you enter, you see the familiar giant Grudark, oafing, stretching down, lifting a heavy, what looks like a makeshift axe, which is essentially just like a bit of a like a trowel from, not like a, you know, like one of those old farm like trowel, like basically like a trowel, I guess, but a big, like, part of a wagon almost he's holding up, just using that to hack away at trees, and then helping what looks like a group of mix and matched people. Like, you can't tell that they're human, orc, whatever. Like, there's too many of them to kind of, like, you know, generalize what they are. In front of you, you see a fireplace with many skins, boiled water, fire, cooked meat, jerkies hanging on racks, little, like, alcoves that are made to protect you from the weather. But it doesn't seem like there's been much rain around in these areas, especially for the last couple of weeks at least. You see also to the left of you as you enter a spring with some fish, which seems to be like very active. There's lots of fishermen, net catching, all kinds, spear throwing, all these kind of ways of basically just catching fish. It seems like it's literally connected to the mountain, which leads off into an area which you could essentially try to climb if you wanted to, but like you could imagine that it goes on for a while. As you are entering, you see a very familiar crafted I want to say town hall, almost kind of beckons what one of the inn entrances looks like back in Murkwatch, right? But what it is essentially just a makeshift building, which you assume is your new command center. And onto the to the very left of you, you also have the blacksmith and quartermaster area. This area it's very bare bones. This new camp of yours is pretty much an in progress town that you will essentially craft into whatever the hell you want as the new security of this place, as the new fighting force, and as the new patrol leaders, as your new employment as the scout branch of the Greyhawks. So, is there anything in particular you guys would like to do as you enter this new area? Besides seeing Peneneth, I'm assuming Peneneth is going to break form and introduce herself, unless...
Is Peneneth still a fly on the wall?
Or she's not there.
I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, you know, as soon as we arrive, Peneneth is gonna break form and be like, "Hey, everybody."
You think that's in fly form?
We're gonna be startled, not
Is Peneneth just a fly?
just some dude
No, never
appears and no one there.
I'm here. What?
That's a trick of yours.
Peneneth, you got pretty big, bud. I don't think they recognize you off jump.
Mr. Derek, you were on my back for I don't know how. Don't you recognize me?
I mean, it hasn't been years since you. Wait, am I being heard or?
You
were cutting out a
you're
little
cutting
bit.
out a little bit.
Let me. I have to fix.
That's okay.
What did you do with your mic?
He's got a new microphone. It's a new one.
Microphone.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know.
Okay.
How about?
Come on, guys.
No.
Let's just go in. Stop
No,
looking at
you
me. You're making me
you
feel a
sound
little
like
weird.
It's
fiddling with
yeah.
the
It's breaking
radio.
up a little bit.
I didn't know we had radios. I thought this was a.
It's magic disruption, okay? It's
Oh,
You know, his magic is so wacky.
You're not on
Derek, I
your
told you
TV?
not to drink that funny tea.
Turn that down a little bit while it's not
I
behaving.
don't know what you were complaining about that swamp gas, by the way. That stuff's delicious.
Okay, I think I fixed it.
Oh, hey, there he
Yeah,
is.
then you
Yeah.
sound better.
That's better. Yeah. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there we go.
Sorry. Let me answer what you said. What you said, Penedith. I mean, I do kind of recognize you, but I didn't think I left you for 10 years. I don't think it has been 10 years since the last time I saw you.
It has
Are
been a
you
month.
Sure.
Nah, there's always something with this kid.
Don't worry, Derek. It's only been a couple of weeks. It's like Nox said. It's just some.
Which you're
It's just
all...
bananas.
So yeah, it seemed like the more I used my magic when I was training, the more I grew. Is-
Can you still
don't-
heal with your fire?
You want to find out? Are you
I am-
hurt? Do you need help?
You need
Do you
assistance.
need help?
I think
you
he's.
You just
You know what, Derek?
just
That's on
say
you.
the word. and
I
not-
stay silent.
I'm going with Nox.
I'd like to say, Bean. I'd like to say, like, okay, Panetta doesn't become threatening in the months that he's that's been training.
No, I'm not being threatening. It's
Are
that
you hurt? You-
Are you hurt? Would
Let's
you
get
like
a
to
stick
be?
and poke you in with.
You
Oh.
don't look hurt. Do you want to be?
Yet.
We'll see that on the field.
All right.
Allow me to change your pain threshold.
As you as you guys introduce yourself, you decide to enter the Hawk's Nest, and if you guys want, you can move yourselves around to like introduce yourself. If you want to have a little specific character that you want to talk to. You do see Kedwin walk off with Nathaniel heading over to the command center. And of course you see the familiar penguin little like waddling over to the guard's house or the quartermaster's area, where this small penguin creature and this small little mouse creature seems to be talking with each other.
On our way up to the gate, do we notice the man outside, Toten?
Toten.
Yeah, Toten.
Toten.
Toten Brackar.
I will say no, not at the moment.
Okay, well, since he's not been noticed by
Yeah.
Shay's gonna fucking go on.
He's
inside.
technically not there at the moment.
Okay.
He might be later, depending on how you roll.
So you should have told me to like look around the place.
That was my fault. He's supposed to be hidden.
Manic, the
Yep.
one conversation we talked about with Kedwin.
Yeah.
Did that already happen, or is that yet to happen?
That's we can say that happened. Yeah,
Okay.
we can say that
All
happened.
right, I'll just
yeah.
talk to Shay about it.
Yeah,
at
you can
some
talk to
point.
Shay at some
Okay.
Okay. So we can start with let's start with Pandad, right? Let's start with Pandad. We're gonna go through this as you guys enter the town.
First in command, first to go.
Yeah, you split up. Pandad, the lieutenant technically of the new Greyhawk Scout team. He makes his way over, passes the familiar soldiers that he's met through his 2 months, technically 3 now, on the job. You make your way over to Nathaniel and Kedwin as they're having a conversation, and we'll cut to this bit. Ooh. Wait, that's the wrong button, you stupid idiot. Thank you. Okay, so yeah.
Jeez.
What a big dumb.
No, I'm talking about myself. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
I didn't do anything, so hopefully not talking about me.
What a big dumb.
So
Wait, that's Kedwin?
yeah, Kedwin is the elven man that you guys all.
Oh, that's okay. I thought actually it was a goblin. Okay.
Oh no, he's Kedwin. Kedwin is definitely an elf. Definitely an elf.
Okay, it's an elf. Okay.
Okay, as you approach Nathaniel and Kedwin, you can hear him basically going on. He's being very frank. He's not like quieting his voice as you appear. He looks at you, gives you a nod, and then says, "Yeah, so my scouts have been noticing. Cool. From what I've heard from them, the reports that I have from the birds that they've sent, the east is the best location to look for that man." And then Nathaniel's like, aye, right, well, I'll get that. I'll make sure the patrols are headed it that way. And of course, we've got Panda. Oh, Argyle, hello. I've just been talking about the scouting issue here. Is there anything we can do for
Yeah.
you, boy?
I was coming to check in with you since we just arrived now.
All right.
I heard some news of Saul in the east. Is that what y'all are talking about?
Aye. Saul has been seen last by Kedwin's men, heading east. Unfortunately, from what I get from Kedwin's reports, he's been gone missing that way. So I think it might be good to send someone out there, have a proper look, like an in-depth look. The problem is that that's bandit territory, so it might take a while.
Got it. Do we have... I guess we probably don't have the means of men at the moment to send over there.
No, I think I would have to send your team.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
I'd be pretty eager to head that myself and try to figure out what's going on with him.
Well, we have to catch that traitor before he does something.
Yeah.
Are you comfy? Are you settled in? You just got here, correct?
Well, we just got here. Just brought in the wagons. It's like everybody's kind of settling in.
Well, grab a bunk.
Maybe talking to the groundskeeper. I wanted to check in here though.
Aye.
Make sure.
You grab a bunk and tell your men to grab a bunk too. Make sure you're rested. Fill your water. Fill your water skins, and then we'll see what we can. We'll see about which operations we need getting done.
Sounds good. Cool. Is this like the bunk house?
The bunk. Okay, this is the command center. This is where you guys have your meetings and such. That's where all the paperwork is. It's essentially where you would go every day to talk to your lieutenant. Well, not your lieutenants, your sergeants, and everyone down from that. That's essentially where Nathaniel stays most of the time. But that's essentially where all the maps are, all the books are, like everything that is information sensitive kind of stays in there. It's why it's always guarded. The bunks are, since there is no technical bunkhouse or barracks right now, we have, you essentially have behind you, which is like a makeshift barracks until the actual buildings are actually made.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just saw that after I asked. It's like, oh, the place with the beds. Cool.
Yeah.
Got it.
Every so often you can hear a crack, like a, and then like a snapping of wood as you just see the giant Grudark literally just taking branches and just snapping them over his knees. And then, moving over as the rest of them, like all these like hacking and banging of axes on trees. Like this area is still being worked, as you can tell. It's very fresh. It's only been set up like a week, 2 weeks. And it's still on its way to being built. Nathaniel he has a moment with you at some point during your entry to this camp. He's like, if you have any ideas on how we can actually make this place better, I'll take any suggestions. We have a craftsman, and he basically points to the giant and goes, he can basically make whatever we need. We just need to get him get him the materials he needs. Yeah. So, and if you need to, you can talk to the woodsman. And of course we got the blacksmith dude over there who's clearly a minor worker. So I'm not sorry about not putting on the gravelly voice. I'm pacing myself for the higher octaves.
Panda is just gonna make it honest. It'd be nice to have a bedroom that can actually fit me if we can accommodate that. But I'll be happy to sleep in one of these beds for now because it's better than a closet.
We'll be sure to put that in. Aye, at least. Aye.
Panda's gonna probably happily claim one of these beds, and then I'd make my way over kind of where everybody is at the groundskeeper, kind of letting everybody know.
Okay. As you
sleeping accommodations are.
As you head over to try and put your pack down and pick a place, You can see that there is still like for this little hawk's nest. There's only about 50 people total who live here, and you can tell that some of them are literally not even sleeping in this area. Like they like finding a little tree and like climbing up it and just settling themselves in there. Sometimes there are people who are literally just putting tarps or little like pelts, I guess, up against like the roofs of these buildings, these makeshift buildings, and just making like makeshift log houses to just stay in there. Sometimes like these people are like they don't like the heat. No, they're just trying to make do with what they have here, and there's plenty of like raw materials just roaming around. A lot of dead like timber. As you make your way to that camp to find a place to set your backpack down, you run into Ruby, and she's literally just doing exactly the same thing as you. And then we will say Shay. What is Shay doing as she enters this Greyhawk's nest?
Shay, seeing her brother next to a man that she hasn't quite met yet, but noting his important-looking outfit.
As you approach what looks like somebody who is wearing the same emblem as you, the Greyhawk emblem is the family name that you're very familiar with. You see a guard essentially comes up and literally gets between you and Lord Greyhawk. And then he goes, "Ha! There's no need for that." Pats his own man behind and says, "Hello, you must be Shay," and takes your hand and literally gives you no choice. Takes your hand and shakes it.
Shaking his hand, Shay, it's a pleasure to meet you, sir. Lord Greyhawk, I assume?
Yes, of course. I'm just talking to your brother here. We are sharing verses from the good book, of course. My friend here tells me that you are the one to talk about finding those missing people.
That is one of my goals, yes. However, there's always things to get done in a budding settlement.
Yes, of course. I mean, you must focus on the important things, but people are important too.
That they are.
I was just having the chat where me and my little militia men over here. He basically points to like a couple of like 6 or 7 men, like huddle around the fire there. We're not going to be spending a long time here. We're going to head up to the North Passage. We heard that the North Camp is essentially having a little bit of trouble. They're missing some people too, so we're going to reinforce that area. We're leaving today, actually. It was nice to meet you. And he takes your hand again, shakes it. By Tia, may his eyes, may his eye watch over you. And literally, basically gets a little too comfortable, and bumps his shoulder against yours. Yeah, like pulling you in for a hug, almost.
That's no big deal. The Shay's gonna go in for it and give him a safe journeys.
Yes.
Lord Greyhawk.
Trainor, I will see you later. And he wanders off, like down to the campfire where his men turn around, and that one guard who gave you like that steely gaze looks you over and gives you a nod because he recognizes that you are, not a threat. You're one of the Greyhawks. Only then to follow after his master. Trainor gives you a quizzical look.
I've never met the man before in my life, Trainor.
Yes, he's a...
However, he seems the friendly sort.
He's a lot. You would never admit that those siblings are vastly different.
I think I've met the sister once.
Yes, she's a very crude
I wouldn't
woman.
even call it a proper meeting. She was just in a tavern giving a speech whenever I walked in.
Very crude woman. What can I do for you?
I don't know if crude is the proper way to describe our employer, but she is on the harsher end.
Yes, but you don't know her as well as I do. I've spent at least a couple of months here.
touche. I was just coming to see how you were settling in before I made my way with the rest of the group.
Ah, yes. I was talking to the rest of the area here, Mr. Gregor over there. Just trying to see if I can scrape some resources together to finally perhaps try and make a church in this godforsaken place.
Is there anything that you'd like me to try to find on our travels?
You'd have to talk to Gregor about that. He's literally the man who knows. He used to be apparently what do you call them? Surveyor. He was talking. He was talking to the what's the man's name? Mr. Charter. About there are some
I don't
local
think I know, Mr. Charter.
quarry areas around here that might be of interest. Unfortunately, because of the overgrowth areas here, it's difficult to find where they actually were on the old maps.
All right, so we have. Okay, so there's old places that are kind of overgrown and lost, essentially.
Essentially, and like especially with this area, it's more attached to the myth, like to the area where the mythal was. So most of the overgrown areas are now becoming a bit more exposed. Passages are becoming exposed. Areas, ruins, and stuff like that that were long hidden are now kind of reawakening, like releasing things, or that kind of thing. So essentially, the landscape's coming back to life. There's life coming, like literally regenerating. It's no longer being plagued or pestilence stricken. It's more like it's returning to what it originally was because of the let's call it the event that Derek managed to
yes, his funny pressing of buttons.
Pull on this these poor people. Oh.
Okay, and it had been a couple of weeks since they had talked about the missing person stuff.
A couple days. Because
the way I thought it worked is they first get back to town, they chat about it, and then
because you've been bringing it up with Pandad, and Pandad has essentially been taking up the wire. So you have like it has been a point of contention that you've been kind of pushing, and Traynor is he knows that you're doing your best to try and find the cause of these missing people, and at least trying to do something a bit more practical about it than just say you are. Is there anything else you want to talk to your Brudar about?
I think that's it that she really has. She was just kind of trying to check on him, see how he was holding up, and because it was a couple days journey, she's not really sure if he's. Okay. She knows that he's not a very capable man in combat. However, she doesn't know how straining traveling is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because he is slightly not a combat prone, but he's definitely more of a man of the cloth. He does more of his battles up here in the head, and is more of a talker, more of a Democrat in that regard, where he likes to solve his problems without taking action. That's why he has his big sister or little sister, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. So as Peneneth has made her way into this little Hawk's Nest area, what is this new found area that you have entered? How does Peneneth react to this?
Well, he besides wanting to follow Shay, because he feels bad for kind of ditching the whole party, but specifically Shay, just because him and Shay have been so close.
Yeah.
So he wanted to follow respectfully behind Shay, seeing that she was going to talk with her brother, and he's just admiring this pretty little pond. And you said there's fishes.
It's a spring.
In there,
there's fish. There's a lot of fishermen too. I don't have any models on the screen, but there's fishermen. You can see like somebody just looking at you and then literally throwing you a net and saying, "You want to help?" Like, this place has definitely got a bit more camaraderie. Sorry. There's not a lot of antagonistic nature like Murkwatch was. It's definitely the people that have been picked to come here are more willing to be a little bit more friendly and a little bit more, you know, the atmosphere of this area definitely helps because of you're not stricken with like jungle fever. You're not sweaty. You're not moist. You're not in a hot towel while running through these, you know, the jungle.
Not that he minded that.
No, technically not, but like everybody else did. Everyone else
Everybody
did.
else did.
Every other human felt
Okay,
miserable.
so all around me there's fishermen, they're talking to me, and okay, so Peneneth is a little he tries to fight that initial guard, right, that he was raised with, to just not trust other people, and the longer he stays with his party, he's grown so close to them that he knows he can trust them all with his life. And so he's gonna go ahead and talk to one of these fishermen. He'll take the net. He'll cast for some fish. He's waiting for Shay to be done because he doesn't want to be the bold kid just running in and rambling his mouth. And he'll just he'll fish and watch for Shay to be done talking to her brother.
Okay. You do that.
By the way,
and,
your Greyhawk guy is still on the board.
Greyhawk guy? Greyhawk guy? Oh yeah,
Lord
you
Greyhawk.
mean Lord Greyhawk? Thank you.
Yep, Lord Greyhawk.
Thank you. It's okay. It's only for cinematic purposes. He's left the scene.
And of course, while Peneneth is fishing, he's going to catch fish, and any he catches, he's just going to toss them right back in.
Oh yeah. But
He's a vegetarian.
and while you're doing that, they're literally giving you the most shade.
Maybe he'll offer to help them. He can understand that other people eat these things.
Okay.
So maybe he'll catch a good fish and hand it to the guy next to him.
Okay. You're throwing the small ones back. Okay. All right. Okay.
There you go.
As you do that, we will cut to Mr. Knox and Mr. Longsar. As you guys approach these two strange creatures, a small blue hooded penguin and this rather ratty-like mouse creature with a set of whiskers peering from the little nostril as this mouse leans over this desk, clearly too big for the creatures to actually climb on. So what was excuse me, here we go. You ready? God damn it.
Do it.
So, what are you doing, guys? What do you need this time, Pega?
Well, I just come to tell you that I am, I'm back. I hope you've been looking after the place a lot. Hey, these are my new friends! He turns around and literally leans and goes, walks over to Mr. Mr. Derek and starts, like, punching him in the knee. And then turns around to do the same to Nox, only to not.
Only to us, to not.
to not.
Pengus, how are you doing?
Hello, my friend.
Fancy seeing you here.
Well, listen, you have, this is my friend, Fix It. She will be looking after this place. She's a great groundskeeper. I will tell you right now, the fact that she can enchant something like this is miraculous. I would have never found this place if it wasn't because of her, So, you should thank me, of course, with your money and goods and valuables. But, I mean, she gets some of the credit. Huh?
Oh, well, that's, how do they say in your place, Pengus? Oh, yeah, enchanté.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I have learned some words during that time.
Yes.
Who's the
I get
cheek
curious.
of that man?
Well, I will leave you to it. I have to go to my workshop. I have to talk to Gregor. We have some discussions to do. Mr. Knox, I would like to talk to you about your little project that you have put together. I will see you later.
Giving us already? Why not stay for a beer or two?
This is I'm very busy. I have got to check in on Grudark, and we can't just drink all day, hey? And he basically waddles off as he lives in that direction.
Okay then.
Grand.
So you have something with to do with Pangus?
Somewhat. I'm here to collect.
As this,
We have some slight dealings.
Yeah, what can I do for you?
Ah, look,
as you see on the shelf, this large bird reptile creature is literally like eating like fish, like and like chewing bits and bits of phlegm, and horrible bits are just literally drawing all over the place. This creature is essentially looks rabid, but only when it's eating for some reason. Otherwise, it seems rather well behaved, and she's not flinching at all. She's literally just working away on a little device in front of herself, every so often looking up as her goggles collapse and like hit her little whiskered nose, and then immediately she just picks up the goggles and literally pulls them back to her head, only to like look at you guys again.
Anything I can get you?
I will just stand back a little bit so that I won't be splattered by
Ah,
fish.
he's harmless. You don't need to worry about him.
Okay, SpongeBob.
Suitable, mommy. Scout Sergeant Knox reporting for duty.
Oh, yeah. I need to see your badges. Can I have your badges?
Just Knox just twists the inside of his hood to show the hidden badge there.
Oh,
Do I have one?
You do. You were
Okay.
you were given one basically a while back.
Okay,
can you put them on the desk, please?
sure do.
As you
Why?
well, so Pengus, are you putting yours on the desk?
Yes.
Okay. She literally leans forward and then takes her hand, puts it over the badge. It then glows for like a moment, and then she goes,
There you go.
and then she just swishes it back to you.
I would like to do an insight check.
Okay, go right ahead.
I think this is the first insight check of the game.
No.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's not. It's not good. It's not-
We have as you watch this small mouse creature swish its small hand across it, you can't really tell if it's malicious or not. You could tell that there's kind of the character itself doesn't seem to be like trying to investigate or anything. It's more like she's just casting something on top of it.
I will wait until Derek gets his
Okay.
proper. Observe him while I do. So, as a groundskeeper, do you keep the notes or any archives of the Greyhawks as well? Or are you just, running the inventory?
I'm mostly running out of inventory. I'm more hired by Pegasus. I would have to say I have no idea about the Greyhawks. I'm just told to make sure that everyone on this register.
And she basically lifts up like a piece of paper that has, I'll say like, if you want to give it like a perception check, like, because she's literally just
sure.
lifts it up for like a second and then just drops it.
I'll do that.
If you
Give me a
want,
moment, I
yeah.
will find my high rolling dice.
Yeah.
Yes,
That was okay.
as you can see.
And you also have a
That's
hex.
a high
So,
roll.
you
A 12.
also have a hex, Muffin. Sorry.
Oh, give me a second. Yeah, let's see if I can roll lower.
Okay. Okay,
That's
there we go. Right, with the 2, it's far too fast. It's far too fast for Nox's eyes. But for Pengus, for Derek, you're very good at speed reading. From your years of researching books and letters and literally just staring at Portella's notes before she notices that you've been spying on her, where she pulls it away from you. So you see like the list, you recognize a couple of names. You notice that Pandad's actual first name is Argyle. You notice that like Shay is Shayador. Like you can just recognize like a couple of familiar names that are on this list. And it's and essentially that's all you catch with your 12. And then she basically looks at Nox and says,
It's actual procedure. And I don't really know anything about you guys besides that Mr. Merchant King, Mr. Pengus here, he says that I have to take care of you guys and make sure that you're all equipped. And of course, getting the usual treatment from this area. Isn't that right?
Let's see. Reluctantly, Nox will unpin the badge
Okay. And as you do,
to cautiously place it on in front of the mouse.
okay,
Before asking, do you want me to ask what's the name of the creature?
fix it.
I always forget Grudar.
Oh
You
yeah.
want me to ask Grudar to cut some wood to make use a couple of steps from both sides of this place?
It's okay. He's tried his best, and unfortunately, he's not used to making somebody this size. So, it's fine.
As
I
she,
just want to ask, on the ledger,
Mhm.
did I see my name?
were you looking for your name?
You looked
Yes.
at
I mean,
names.
You saw a bunch of names. You didn't necessarily see your name.
okay.
So as you put the little symbol down, she literally like puts her hand over it. Some very familiar glow happens once more, and you can feel like there is like an enchantment just put on this this amulet, this little badge of yours.
So what did you do to the insignia?
Oh, well, I mean, you're just gonna ask me? Wow, it's very rude. I don't ask you about your enchantments.
Because I don't have.
Okay, well, basically, this whole area is, well, how do you say, how do I translate this? This is essentially like a mythal. You know what one of those is?
Sorry, I'm dying.
Oh, I must have scared him.
Just suddenly choking.
Well, you see, the way this area works is, we have a contraption, essentially, where the mythal is an area of protected magic. So these little amulets will essentially not set off the alarm. So it basically means you can come and go as you please without, sending this area into high alert. So if you could do me a favor and literally get your friends.
Badges?
Well, I need to literally see the rest of your friends. If you could send them over here, that would be great. I'm going to be going over the register before the end of the day.
Will do. But,
I'm gonna need one for this.
What's that?
what the?
And Nox plops the toad out of his hood.
Oh, hi there, little toad.
And she just pats it on
What
the
is
head.
that? Why do you have this in your robe?
Yes,
I can...
that's my emotional support creature.
She pats it on the head. She doesn't need to give it to, like, she literally just cast the enchantment on the creature. Is it resisting?
No.
Okay. Then it casts.
I will just basically lean in. Don't worry, it will not resist.
It then leans in and it rubs its hand over the creature in a way that is very similar to what it did with the badges before. And then essentially as,
There you go, little fella.
and just pushes him off the table and goes,
God, could you get that, please, Charlie?
and Charlie, the large raptor-like creatures, just starts going just like licking the whole area, just slobbering with bits of fish and horrible, gross, icky bits and pieces. You can tell as this creature has no control over its appetite, almost.
Lovely.
So,
Okay, thanks, bye.
wait, what? Oh, well, so, just so we're clear, there's the bedding area if you want to grab yourself a bunk. Maybe tell your friend too. That would be good.
Where?
In the center over there.
She points to like the big campfire.
Okay. I'll try to relay the message for everyone else.
Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for the heads up, and
Yeah,
I hope we
yeah,
work together
Yeah,
more often.
yeah,
As I walk past the dwarves, I'm gonna just play Duck Duck Goose until I say hello to Link, to Sin.
All right. Okay.
Or is that duck, duck, frog?
Duck.
No, I just
It's
want to know
frog,
if I'm gonna get attacked by just repeatedly patting every single dwarf on my way to Sin, just going duck, 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 goose.
As you approach the dwarves, they give you a funny look, Can I get a
Not percent.
not a perception. I want to say, can I get a
survival check.
intimidation check?
On me.
Yeah, intimidation check.
Oops, my bad.
So that's a 16.
Okay, so with the 16, you walk past. One of the dwarf literally stares at you with like a raised brow. And then the other one is essentially like staring into his mug as you pat them on the head. The third one is unaware of your entire presence, and as you pat him, yeah, he turns around and like almost stumbles over the log behind him and lands on his backside, pouring beer over himself.
Oh Jesus! I'm gonna help him out almost immediately. Sorry about that.
It's like it's just a dragonborn. It's just scared the Jesus out of me.
Well, good because we serve fear on this pass apparently.
Jesus, you've never seen Jesus. And he points to a small little carved figure in his lap.
Oh. Sorry about that, but and the next one's on me.
Don't go around scaring people like that.
Sorry, it's an interesting habit to have.
You can see you can see Sin's pet cat literally sitting on the log watching you, like almost like with a scowl. Yeah, they are. Bean is in the game, Eric. Okay.
I'm just gonna say hi.
Okay, yeah, she's basically trying to kind of gives you the overall idea of what she's doing here right now. I don't want to play her character, so I'm just gonna take the point of the dwarf, essentially who you scared, Mr. Kurid. Kurid, and he's like, listen, we're here, we're scavengers and hunters. We have to go out into the forest there and, find food that's not fish, deer, and all those kind of things. So I'd like to know, if you're looking for something specific or whatever, be sure to tell us and we can go out, find some of it, maybe for a feast or whatever. Also, we've been noticing some interesting phenomenon. I can't even really say that word. What word is that? What am I doing? And he's basically like, everyone around him is looking at him, confused. Like he's clearly like, he has a lot of drinks in. Yeah, like they haven't gone out for a while.
I'll be sure to let you know. And Scout Sergeant Knox, let me know if you need anything as well.
The sergeant. That's so remarkable. And you can see this little creature here leans in and goes, "Don't mind him. He's just had a bit of a scare."
I noticed. I've been there. I participated in it.
No, not that. Not that. This area, as much as it seems safe, we have to, unfortunately, the roads out there are definitely something you've got to be worried about. People have been going missing. There used to be there used to be 6 of us.
Huh. I'll be sure to raise the concern with the commander.
Aye.
That if we're gonna keep losing people, that's not really good for an outpost as small as us.
Exactly. All right, Staff Sergeant. And she basically takes her hand, puts it to her head, and gives you a salute. As all the dwarves essentially head off towards the fisherman's tents. Yeah.
I will just move to the Commander Garrow.
Okay.
I assume we all will, essentially we will be all here for debriefing eventually.
I would say, is there anybody else who wants to do something before we head to do you all match up and kind of decide what you're gonna do?
I'll just ask everyone else. I mean, Shay and Benene
Yes.
to go register themselves, I guess.
Oh yeah,
And
okay,
I will just take that time to choose a better bed.
okay.
Dad would have registered as well. to get
Yeah,
the
okay, yeah,
badge,
that's
but
fair.
Whatever.
As you
Yeah.
find a bed, Pegasus, Mr. Derek, he's very peculiar with his bedding, so I'll let you do a skill check. I want you to do a skill check. I want you to do perception check. Let's do a perception check. Oh no. Oh. Okay, well you find a bed that looks like it's great, but it's clearly nobody wants that one. Unfortunately for you, it's the one that's waterlogged. So
Oh, hey, you got a waterbed.
They're the new craze.
So, in your search for a better bed, you have unfortunately found yourself with one that's not so much a bed that you would inherently enjoy.
Nice. That's at least that's something that I never had
Yeah.
before.
Mhm.
I mean, a bed.
As you guys find Peneneth and Shade, you guys want to? I guess you're just gonna go and
Yeah, at least Shay is going to go and get herself registered after
Okay.
Derek informs him of the funny registry.
okay.
Are you coming, Peneneth?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh, yep.
Before I leave them
Mhm.
to it, I'll talk to Penet and Shay.
Okay. Hmm.
Guys, did you know that Nox has a toad in his robe?
Nox is a toad?
You know, I
Is
heard
it?
ribbit a lot, and I thought maybe it was something he ate.
Well,
And-
for me, okay,
What's
so that's
the,
not
what
what
is?
you.
Does the toad talk? What is this toad? What is
Maybe
his
No.
it's
name?
just an emotional support toad?
Well, that's what he said actually.
Oh,
But I mean, he seems to be like in control of it.
Maybe it should come over here and swim. There's a lot of good fish in here. Toads like fish, right?
Wait, do you take that for granted, Benet? Or well, actually, everything is weird with you. But Shay, please tell me that's weird, right?
the toad? Okay, Derek, I have no idea how any other magic besides divine magics work. Is the toad maybe like a funny catalyst?
Okay, I have practiced
what did
magic
he
for
do with it? What
a
did he
really
do
long
with the
time,
toad?
but I have never heard about a toad being a catalyst. So
Or some form of
Did the
like
toad
arcane
talk?
focus?
no,
Did he
I did
talk?
not. I did not hear it talk.
No?
I did hear rabbits, but not talk.
I mean, it's definitely weird that he keeps a toad just in his coat the entire time, but
Was it in his pocket? Is
I
it a
don't
little?
know.
How big is this
I was
toad?
not looking. Well, I'll try
I'm
to
gonna
show with my hands.
I'm just gonna explain logistics. It's sitting on my horn under the hood.
Well, I did not see where he was hiding it, but all I know is that he even registered it apparently.
Maybe he found it out in the woods when we were hiking before we got ambushed, and he wanted to save it.
so okay, so he registered the what does registering with over there actually do?
That means you will not
Well,
trigger
I
the
had to
alarms.
create a login for it and then a password that's stronger than 8 letters that contains symbols.
This password is not strong enough
rock,
to try good.
leaf, rock, stump,
No,
fish.
sorry, you can't use that. You've already used it before.
Damn
The
it.
new password cannot be the same as your old password.
As the last
you-
5 passwords.
This password cannot be the same as Bandad.
Don't reveal my passwords.
1,
Do you think?
2.
Do you think
It's
that?
not
Did
really
you
a
get?
password, it's more like a cheat code from a Nintendo game.
Left, right, up, down, down, right,
Okay.
bumper, bumper.
Okay,
So
I
he
just
had-
wanted to make sure.
He had his toad registered,
Yes.
Like
and
like
registering stops us from setting off alarms.
Yes, from what I've understood.
I wonder if these
That
fish
is
are
a little weird.
That?
Pendeneth, I don't think the fish are registered, buddy. I think they were here before the perimeter was set up.
Do you want me to set the alarm every time I go back to the camp or not? I think it's a stupid idea.
It's coming from.
Well,
Did you guys hear that voice?
I wonder if I have to get my shield registered.
Can your shield get up and move?
it has its
Oh,
own
no.
conscious? Is it magical?
I mean, if I get it enchanted, maybe.
Do I have to
no.
get my Feanor registered? What
Probably
if I
do.
turn into a boar? Does it still work?
I mean, you can always
I guess
ask the
we can go
character.
ask
We
them.
should
Yeah.
go
Go
ask.
them.
Okay.
Shay,
We'll have
Shay,
so
I
many
gotta talk
questions.
to you. I gotta talk to you sometime. We can register. I want to talk to you today sometime. Okay?
Of course, Pendeneth.
Let's.
Let's go get ourselves registered first, because it looks like Pandad is standing over there too.
Okay. So everyone who
Oh,
is
maybe they
getting
have beer.
yeah,
Do we
everyone
get
who's
beer
getting
for
thingy.
registering?
No,
And
there's,
then I
there's
know
no.
you've grown up, but you do not get beer. You need to lay off the drinking.
Wait, no, but that's a
Hi,
serious
Panda.
question. Do we get beer if we register?
Oh, wow!
Hold on.
Holy.
Damn it, I'm with a bunch of alcoholics, and you're still 10!
Well, don't forget to register your staff, Pandad.
My
As,
staff, why?
No,
I don't
but
know, something about me having to register my shield?
magical items don't need to be don't need another. In fact, they can't be enchanted. That's not how enchantments work. You're a magic
Oh.
user. Why don't you know this?
Excuse me.
Oh, Jesus! What? Oh, hi. Wow, you're green.
It's not a disease. I swear, and it's not contagious.
Hold on, what's wrong with being green?
No. Oh God. Oh, you're not as green.
Oh, yeah, I'm a slightly lighter shade of green, but what's wrong with green?
Nothing. I haven't seen a green person in a while.
Okay.
I know my skin looks a little bumpy, but
Hmm.
it's the archdruid assured me that everything is fine.
as you lean, as you lean in, as you get a little bit closer, you see this little rapture creature, which is essentially almost the same size as you. Kind of like lean over and like kind of like present its head as if it wants a pet.
From me.
Yeah.
And do I sense that this is safe?
I don't know.
Like a puppy. You know what? I'm just gonna reach over and I'm gonna scratch it on either side of its nose and aren't you a good boy?
Just seems to like purr as you tickle it.
Oh, you're a friendly sort. That's good. That's good. So can I have your badge, please?
Peneneth is gonna fumble through his pockets because he's never actually worn his badge.
Oh.
And he'll pull it out, and he's gonna ask. What's your name? What do I call you?
Oh, I'm Fix-It. Nice to meet you.
Leans like a
Hi,
small
Fix-It.
hand out, and literally, it's like, I want to say, like, you know, the borrowers. She's tiny.
Yeah,
she's just tiny. Like, you can imagine it, like being a groundskeeper for this area is hard work, and you can kind of understand why she has something so big to get her around.
He's gonna shake. He's gonna grab her hand and he's gonna decide, do I shake it? Do I kiss it? Because he's been learning manners, and he's just gonna pause and shake it.
Yeah,
And shake it.
Here you go.
I have a firebird that sometimes I call into existence. Does that need to be registered like Mr. Knox's frog?
What? What? No. What do you?
Because it's magic.
It's not. What? It's a.
I-
That's okay. First, just so we're clear, that frog is a frog. If I didn't really, like most creatures coming and going from this area, this aura will set off the alarm. Like animals and birds and such won't. But like I guess if there's some sort of intent, or they're controlled creatures, they might set off the the aura. But I guess with Mr. What was his name? Nox?
She looks at the register, then back up, and then adjusts her goggles.
Yeah.
So I guess he must be worried that the frog might set off. I guess it'll come and go a lot. So does your bird you have no control over the bird?
No, I have full control of the bird.
Well, it
It's
should be fine.
It's part of my soul.
Should be fine.
Thank you.
Here's your
He's
badge.
Thank you. He's gonna back
Ow.
away.
Just one question. What if we wear the badge of someone else? Does that...
That won't work.
It won't set off the alarm.
No, well, I
Or-
mean, it will, like, essentially, the enchant is essentially a badge. So it's, I mean, technically, if you wanted to be, like, really mean and evil, you could steal someone's badge and then, sneak into the camp. I'm kind of hoping that doesn't happen. But yes, that is a glaring security risk. Thank you very much for pointing it out.
I just want to know.
No one thought about that.
This is very simple. It's a hidden place. I'm kind of hoping that you don't go around telling people about this place.
Well,
Say-
I mean, yeah, no, that'd be great that we
Oh.
don't tell people. But I mean, sometimes people follow us or would try to follow
And maybe you should be better at hiding. I don't know what to tell you.
us. You try
Yeah,
hiding
put
in
it
shame,
in my
well, damn it.
newsletter.
And what if the amulet gets stolen? The badge gets stolen.
Well, don't lose it. And if you do lose it, then report it. These are...
Hearing that, Peneneth is gonna firmly attach his badge to his chest piece because he doesn't want to lose it.
This is very simple magic I have to cast on over 50 people on a short period of time. This is the best me and Mr. Merchant King could come up with.
No one's critiquing the.
It feels like I'm being very judged right now, and I don't appreciate it.
Well, I
But
am.
you know
I do
what?
not-
I don't
do not-
appreciate having security flaws.
Me neither.
Guys, don't. She's a nice. Leave her be. She's a nice person. Let's just give her your badge, and let's go over to the bed. Come on, guys. Why?
Oh yeah, by the way, guys, I found a good bed for myself.
I found a good bed. Anyone wants to switch?
Oh, you found a good bed? What's so nice about it? Shay's gonna step up after Peneneth backs away and place her badge on the counter.
Thank you.
She just basically takes it and hands it back.
Thank you. Sorry for being a bit of a hard ass.
That's fine. I just, I've worked really hard. I've been up since like 3 o'clock this morning.
I'm sure you're
Can
doing
I
great.
help you?
No, it's
What
fine.
how can I help you?
What? No, I'm here to help you.
Everybody needs help from
You-
somebody.
Oh, that's very thank. You know what? I'm good. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I have a lot of work to do, but hey, perhaps when I am done, we can maybe discuss some things. But other than that, I'm pretty good right now.
Okay, fix it. You just, I'm your boy. You can count on me.
Thank you very much. You're very handsome.
So Peneneth is gonna start walking away, and he's gonna see this man holding a bunny. Does that bunny need healing? Do you need help, sir? I'm just here to help.
He's in the middle of wringing its neck.
No.
No, I'm killing
I'm
it.
killing it.
You want to help with that?
Peneneth contemplates casting heal wounds.
All right, Pat.
Pat would have put down wow, I can't fucking talk.
Mhm.
Would have put down his badge.
Okay. Yeah.
Just as he was doing it, just like talking to Derek and just like, oh yeah, I saw that bed. It was a little squishy, right?
Yeah, well, I like when it's a little bit more squishy for the feel for the body. I tend to rest a lot.
Very spongy.
Yeah, it beats sleeping in a closet, right? It's gonna nudge you a little bit. Like you know what he's talking about.
Ah, Mr. Argyle.
She salutes you.
I have a bunch of reports here for you. This is the reports for all the men that came in. Here is the staff notices.
She basically just keeps handing you like paper after paper after paper after paper after paper.
And Panda just like collecting each one, like staring at it, confused a little bit, like, oh, wait, well, hold on, what did I sign up for?
So
Is Pandad gonna be able to hold all this without someone's help?
Like,
Do you need? Do you have troubles reading?
what?
That's fine. It's just more than I expected.
Maybe if you put down the beer, that would be a lot better.
I don't know. Might help with some of this reading here. Panda's gonna take all this paperwork and kind of like tuck it into his jacket pocket a little bit as he's grabbing his badge back and pinning it back onto
I
his.
have duplicates if you need them later.
okay.
Also, try not to lose any of that work. Thank you very
I will
much.
do my best.
If you need any of that checked, feel free to hand it in, and I will try and keep it up to date.
It's just so papers on soldiers and stuff.
it's basic.
Like
It's essentially orders, like work orders, like things that will, it's basic maintenance for the soldiers. It's mostly Nathaniel's orders, just basically being relayed to you in paper form. You're technically aware of everything, but it's a way to document like what parties and what groups are doing what. Yeah.
Yeah, Panda will tuck it away and probably go over it as he's reading, or read it as he's going to bed later. So.
It's around midday by the time you guys are finished registering, settling in. Is there anything else you guys would want to do before we cut to the main group of you guys kind of deciding what you're doing?
Can I change beds?
No, unfortunately. You're really convinced that that's the best bed that you could technically get with your roll, unfortunately.
I want to say that Pandad would at some point go to the back building, basically, where all the maps and stuff are kept, and kind of like go over some of that information. Probably some of the information he just got, just to get reacclimated with it as we're kind of like getting settled in.
I'll say that you guys can, as the evening like comes forward, you guys can maybe make your way into this area. Yeah, because this is essentially where you will make your decisions, where you're going to go forward after that. This is essentially your command center. It's where you decide what's,
We can see what's inside.
You pull the green thing down, you should be able to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'll pull the green bar down until it takes away the roof, then you should be able to move inside. You can also open the door. I can let you in that way too.
It's click shift to teleport, right?
Click shift to teleport. Yeah.
I think I might be on the roof.
Well, bring down the yellow bar, and you should be okay.
Yeah, I'm good now.
Where the fuck did I just go? God damn it.
Oh.
Yeah, getting inside a building seems trickier than it's supposed
Shift
to be.
shift click on their character. Shift click on your character, and then you can just drag it into it like that.
Okay, yeah, no, shift clicking seems to work.
So
there.
as you guys all
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
spend your midday, it's around midday. You've spent like the last 3 days traveling. You're kind of tired, but more like not even exhausted, just more like feeling a little antsy because you've been on the road for 3 days. This is your first day in camp. Unfortunately, there is no time to rest. You've had a month of you've had a week of rest, followed by 3 weeks of patrols, and then only that to be acclimated to this new area. You're feeling antsy and a little, compelled to try and just get yourselves back to work. As you guys find Nathaniel sitting at the head of the table here. He's going through some papers. As you guys enter behind him, wait, let me just create this little area here. And he leans in, he leans out of his chair with his mug, stands up, and you can see like he's got a limp to him. Yeah. Like clearly the encounter with the Sohn has left its mark on him. At least he's healed a little less than the rest of you guys. He had taken a couple of licks, not only to mention his tortured for essentially weeks before you even got there. He leans over, comes down, and sits in front of the chair to you guys. Oh, all right, guys. How's you all? Are you all inside? Are you all registered? All set?
Yes.
Right.
Sure did.
It's quite cozy in here.
This is one of the finished buildings. It was the first one put up.
Derek, is the inside of this building
Well,
better than your bed
the
outside?
second building to put up.
Well, the second
I'll give
building.
you a glare.
The second building was technically the quarter master. Sorry.
How many people have been drunk at 10 a.m.?
I'm not drunk. I just unfortunately I'm
Taking medication.
I'm in
for your
horrible
leg.
medication. My he literally looks at his leg where there was a huge spike 2 weeks ago. Well, a month ago technically.
Mr. Nathaniel, didn't you see a healer for your leg?
This was after the healing.
Oh.
He's basically rubbing at his leg, like clearly, like there's only so much a healer can do.
So sorry.
Listen, soldiers get hurt. I wouldn't worry about that. I'll be fine in a couple of weeks. When we get to my age, you know, I'm literally just pushing my luck. I need to slow down a little bit. He kind of, you know, sits back in the chair.
Again?
He's as old as his character sheet says.
Oh, okay.
He can't be that much older than half of our characters.
For a human, he's pretty old.
I mean, orcs and humans have about the same
Yeah.
lifespan.
Well, considering how long he's been in service.
Oh yeah, he's fucking ancient. Never mind.
So he leans.
I'm 50.
He leans into the chair and he gets a big cask out, like a miniature cask, and basically just starts pouring like goblets into pouring ale into his cup, and then pulls out a couple more cups, laying them out for you guys. It's technically midday, around about 2 o'clock. Let's say around about 2-3. As he pours out some drinks and then hands them out around the table as you guys get seated. As he finishes his drink in one go and then pours himself some more. Clearly, he's still going through a little bit of pain. He waits for you guys to take the initiative, I guess, in deciding what you guys want to do.
So,
Knock.
sitting
I
down
heard-
in one of the chairs, Shay's gonna grab one of the cups and begin nursing the ale.
Mhm.
But that actually is this swamp gas that he's brought with him.
This is a lot. This is a lot stronger. It's clearly
Oh.
something that he's been using for a pain suppressant.
So Shay didn't like the taste of swamp gas.
It's essentially a Vicodin vodka.
It's essentially raw potatoes.
Yummy.
Tasting
Sorry.
bits of dirt in her mug, Shay's gonna like stick her tongue out a little bit, kind of.
It's definitely sharp. The scent is hitting you first, and it's almost, I want to say, what's the term? And like medicinal. Like it.
Oh,
Yeah.
ooh. Well, she's already taken a few sips of it at least, so she's kind of stuck with the taste and on her palate now.
It's not swamp gas, but you know, it'll take the bite out, and especially this warm weather, it's pretty good. He, you know, looks down at it and then looks back at you guys.
I'm gonna assume that Nathaniel and Pandad have drank this before. He's
Most
gonna
cases.
probably
Yeah.
Drink down one and probably put out of his cup for another as he stretches out kind of the map that he's fixed up with Lenny Charter.
Okay.
And kind of go over the plan, or not the plans, the information that he's gotten from Nathaniel and Kedwin, and kind of pointing at the east and kind of discussing like, hey, I think, you know, this seems like an area that we want to try to probably make our way towards. We've heard Saul's in that direction, and we want to try to capture him before anything happens. Personally, I think we should try to head that way and try to put a stop to that as soon as we can. Thinking it'll lead us to some more.
Sorry, what's
Sorry,
that,
what was
Nox? What's that, Nox? You got something to add?
Does it correlate with the missing people? The word goes around the camp that we're losing every once in a while. Maybe a scout, maybe a soldier, maybe a hunter.
Are they turned into frogs?
Anyway,
All right.
I think they are. It does have to deal with that. I think. Right?
I gave a bit
When it
of
was
a
not
stink
on-
stare.
It wasn't on stream.
Oh.
It wasn't on
Oh,
screen. I needed to accentuate that particular point.
I can- okay.
If these things are correlating, and we can like hit both birds with one stone, we should go for it.
I will say, Nox, you have a good point. The missing people is something that we should sort out before, essentially, with Murkwatch being the way it is. It's already under attack. Not only that, but we have the Dragonfire that is essentially very imperative to the North Camp. But we can't get it there without getting through this area. So it would be very nice to deal with this threat before it becomes a bigger problem. And I don't know if the bandits are going to be involved with this in some way. These people are going missing.
Cutting out for everyone else, or is that
Oh.
just a me issue?
Not really.
It's you.
I can hear.
Okay, good. Sorry, no bad. Is it me? Shouldn't be.
I think it's Shay.
Mars.
Okay,
Yeah.
just Marcy. Okay. So, I think you have a very good point there, Nox, and I feel like Shay has also had a point with your brother there bringing that up a couple weeks ago. Those things seem to be connected. Also, the fact that there are some weird, I want to say, effigies being thrown around. This area seems to be a little bit under the influence of, I want to say, what do you call them? Fanatics. But this weird zone culture that seems to be going around. It would be easier to put a knife in this whole situation and be done with it.
You want us to just get rid of the people? Or, I mean, the cultists over there?
I mean, if there is a way to deal with the cultist area, yeah, that would be handy. I mean, as brutal as it sounds, if there's any way to dissuade them from spouting such fearful talk, I will leave it up to you. It's one of your main jobs as, my men. I will leave this, the way you deal with said problem,
I turn to Bandad. Wait, do we need to just chase them away, or like actually dealing with them? Like,
I suggest slaughter.
I will say this.
slow down.
I will say this. The Bloody Scabbards were very simple creatures when it came to dealing with people. And I, being as biased as I am, feel like it's an imperative to maybe deal with them in the same similar way. But as I said, this is why I'm not in charge and I put you guys in charge of it. My bias is very much in the way of dealing with them in the way Tyr would see, with justice.
So I suggest slaughter.
Okay, slow down. So wait, we're not going to commit war crimes just for that.
It's not a war crime if there's no one to prosecute it.
So I'm back. I cut out for a second there. Can someone give me a quick rundown?
Oh,
Yeah, thanks. I returned and they're talking about war crimes
Yep.
and slaughtering.
Muffin's got just basically saying war crimes. And I think everyone's on board.
Are they civilians? Are we using white phosphorus?
This is for
It's everybody
for
in this town.
for the
Just-
cultists for the cultist problem. Yeah.
I don't think scaring him off is gonna be like the best option, considering they're just gonna come back.
Uprooting them.
I think.
It's not scaring him off you should worry about. It's the ringleader. Every cult needs a head. So you cut the head off. The cultists don't really know what to do. The sects themselves could be harmless. The idiot leading them, that's the problem.
If it's a cult, cultists are never quite harmless without a head. So it's a little bit like the undead. It can still do things on its own. Best to get rid of the whole lot.
We also have that unknown creature. Where's Ruby? And he looks around, a little confused.
Last I saw, I think she was standing over by the fire, eating a haunch of goat or something.
Where did she find goat?
I don't know. It's Ruby. She just does things.
She had it in her backpack.
I haven't seen any goats on this isle. That's. Did she?
Maybe it's not goat.
Ugh. Well, she.
What about those?
She.
From the mainland.
She did.
It might have been. I saw an injured horse outside. It
Oh.
might have been.
Jesus. That's also.
That was.
I will say this right now. If she's eating horse, we have a horse shortage at the moment.
If that was a horse, she put a lot of work into eating that thing because it was almost gone by the time we walked in here.
Speaking of horses, that's an important part. There is literally a horse shortage. I am not joking. We're going to lose half of our horses later today as they go back to Murkwatch. I would also like you guys to maybe talk to the stable master and see about finding some wild horses or an equivalent while you're out there.
Are we missing horses?
So, also another factor.
Penenith will say after he says the horses thing, he's like, I remember as a younger boy that the elves used the deers and the stags for transport. Maybe we can employ them.
Younger boy, you only grew up in the last week.
You'd have to talk to Antoine. Or Antonio, what's his
Oh.
name? I think
Antonio.
Antonio, that's his name. I don't know everyone quite yet, he says.
Neither am
Oh.
I.
Is
I'm
Antonio
meeting
our
people
local
myself, and I'll hold up
Yeah,
my drink.
I purposefully ignored the big green man at the gate.
There's a couple of things that need to be sorted here. Unfortunately, we have Antonio, who is going to be our new stable master. We have the blacksmith, who is needs work for his workshop. We also have ourselves the woodcutters, in order to maybe have our buildings built quicker and faster. We also have Grudar, who is very keen working away here. But as I said, it would help if you guys can all, throw some weight around. You have men at your disposal. It would be good to have a list of what you guys need them to do while you guys are out walking about. And also, we have a giant creature that needs to be mentioned. There's something out there that's eating people, taking people. Something
What?
menacing.
Not Grudark, right?
Not Grudar. He's a friendly man. You leave him alone.
Is that the thing that Ruby talked about?
Aye, that's why I was mentioning where she went. She's
What-
literally
what
the
did-
only person who's seen this thing and
She did
survived.
mention it to
Ruby's-
us
what did Ruby
before. Ruby mentioned seeing. They didn't see anything, if I remember correctly. They said that they heard what sounded like a bunch of spiders.
What?
Yeah, when I was with her, she did talk about some big spiders, but I didn't pay too much attention because I thought she was having a fever dream. But anyway,
Well, I don't think Ruby was having a fever dream this time. I do know what you're talking about, though, Derek. She does seem a little out of it sometimes.
And these giant spider things is what is eating people. This is why people are disappearing.
Well, we're not sure yet,
Not sure.
but it's a possibility.
Let's start with the obvious one. First, we deal with the bandits. Then the cultists. Then, if people keep disappearing, we'll see if this mythological creature.
wait, are you the captain?
Those cultists were bad news.
What?
They were making people come back in the dead. That goopy stuff in my mouth was gross.
Listen here, right? He bangs the table and gives you a look over. There's a lot I'm not gonna lie, this responsibility is thrown on you in a case where it's not necessarily something that you would like to deal with. Unfortunately, you're the only capable people who are essentially new and I can trust. And I'm sorry to put this in your hands. But at the same time, I'll give you the evening to think about it. We're going to have a feast. We've got a bunch of our scouts out there literally collecting food. We're going to enjoy the evening, and then tomorrow morning we're going to get to work. So by then I would like your decision.
Is there a horse amongst the feast or not?
Well, I feel like I'm going to have to be talking to the stable master all night, because if that is the case, he rubs his temple and stands up. And he walks over back to his desk and he sits down at that chair.
I'll make sure Ruby's not eating horses.
Right. Is anything
And
else?
if it's still injured, I'll make sure it's okay.
Anything else?
Do Greyhawks keep track of all the, let's just say, arrest warrants and notorious bandit locations?
From the scouts, Mr. Kedwin, and he basically points to the outside because who knows where Kedwin is at the moment. Kedwin has been giving me reports on the patrols that he is essentially sent out there. And he has given me a little bit of advice when it comes to these areas, mostly towards the east. There are some pockets here and there in the north, and of course, towards the actual north camp. I'm kind of hoping that those have died down a little bit, but unfortunately, because of this cultist, literally between here and the north camp, we have a bit of a situation where it comes to not being able to get our resources to north camp at that point. I've also heard the fact that we haven't had our messenger or scout arrive since. So north camp is unfortunately a little bit under excuse me, a little bit understaffed right now.
I could show Nox my map that should have some of the points that bandits had attacked.
Yeah.
Reported attacks from when me and Lenny had gone over.
Yeah.
Kind of pointing out some of the areas.
You can see that mostly
north
the east area seems to have most of the bandit activity, but there are little factions, or not necessarily bandit attacks, but they have definitely been disguised as bandit attacks. The north area seems to be a little bit more fluent with areas. It's almost like the scabbards being uprooted from the area that you attacked have kind of moved up north and tried to kind of settle, because as this area has cleared out a lot because of the mythal and because of Derek and his decision to turn it on. This area has cleared up a little bit, but also at the same time it means that the area itself has become a bit more populated because it's safer and it's no longer infested with areas that are corrupted.
I see. I guess before the big evening, I will join the hunting group that goes for food.
Yep. Okay.
Purely because to make some new bonds, and at the same time, I want to scout outside and basically measure the camp.
Sure. Okay.
See weaknesses, see possibilities for fortification and all that.
Okay.
Maybe some rat.
As we'll say the evening starts to come around, is there anything anybody wants to do specifically, as we go through this evening?
Okay, so because I cut out, who exactly are we referring to as cultists and bandits? Because are the bloody scabbards the cultists?
The scabbards are essentially what you would say they were bandits, but they seem to be under the influence of a cult. You can tell right off the part that Chase, for instance, Mr. Chase was working for the cult.
And they're to the north, while the more traditional bandits are off to the east.
You, from the reports that you have received, and from what Nathaniel knows, yes.
Okay. That's the only two dots that I didn't have colored in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Afternoon wise? or if you want to continue a conversation with Nathaniel. Literally, I'm throwing my hands up to what do you guys want to do information wise? What do you want to gather?
I'm thinking for Nathaniel asked about buildings earlier.
Okay.
I know we had mentioned this before. I kind of would probably mention to Nathaniel, as Muffins mentioned before as well, watchtower, kind of to see more what's going on around our area instead of kind of keeping guards. So maybe finding a good point in our camp
Okay.
where it'd be more key to be like, hey, what's going on that direction, like towards maybe the north camp.
Okay.
Keeping
As
an eye on the road, so.
I'll say this: if you roll maybe like a survival check, or if anyone wants to help with this too, you can maybe like kind of come up with an idea of where you would like to build this watchtower, or if it's like even a good idea to do. Like literally, it's just like a survival check. If you want to give it advantage or whatever, we can maybe come up with something like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
19 plus 2, so 20. Dirty 20.
All right. Well, considering you give yourself what, like an hour, you wander around the camp, having a look.
Yeah.
Nox is also doing something similar.
Where's the stable person?
Find them on the map. I'll
Oh,
yeah.
Antonio.
As
Yeah,
you
Penendith
wait a minute, wait.
wants to talk to
Before we
Yeah.
I'll let me do with the pandas thing first. So you have you basically wander around the camp, like staying inside the hawk's nest, and giving yourself out. You can see the sky, and it's so clear, like it's never been as clear as it has than it is standing here in this magically enchanted and mythal area. The weather is almost too nice, like it has to be enchanted. Yeah. Like with your perception, with your survival check, you notice that this mountain area that is essentially like an alcove of trees mixed with rock above, you kind of get the thought that maybe if you have someone talented enough, you could maybe make like a tower like crafted into the mountain, or at least like a little nest crafted above this whole area, above the skyline, above the tree line, that could give you a sight over the north. It could give you sight over the. Let me just give you a check real quick. It could give you sight over the north, east, and south. But it will lead into the fact that you won't be able to see who's coming from the west.
Gotcha. Cool. I think that would still work either way. Just as we have some visuals of kind of like what's going on, considering there's been so many thefts and attacks going towards the north.
The watchtower.
Knowing that information.
I was gonna say we could have the watchtower on one side and then just keep more guards on patrol on the westward side.
Well, on the western side, you do have like a mountain, so it's literally like they would have to climb over the mountain in order to get in that way.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is that advantage.
Yeah, I would probably discuss it with Nathaniel to see what the best, essentially, like, is that feasible, and talk to Grudark to see if they know.
Well, Grudark, if you want to talk to Grudark, you have to talk to Pengus, because remember, Grudark doesn't have a tongue.
Right. Well, I talked to Pengus.
Okay.
To talk to to see if he's able to do something.
Wait,
Like,
isn't Grudar the one who could actually like mend our bowl?
The bowl, yes. Which is also something else that you might want to consider.
Yeah.
well, yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Seeing who's the best option to go build that spot, but also if you want to talk to Grudark about that too, Pengus.
Okay. Are you all in a, like, if I go down the list, are you all in an area where you want to talk or discuss something that might come up? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also have a building. I mean, we can talk buildings after, I guess.
No, we can stick with buildings if it's like it's on point right now, so we might as well, right? So if you have an idea.
A research lab.
A research lab.
Mainly for me, but also to craft some potions and Maybe in a place where it could be safer for the camp, where if
I'll say that
magic goes.
with when you make this this little suggestion, Pengus, who you were very friendly with Pengus. He's very much kind of he's interested in you specifically just because of the way A, you saved him, B, you turned everything on and literally gave back his his life.
Himself too, I guess.
He when you start to spout on about these like this research lab, he takes you to his little area and you'll notice there's like a cave which is very difficult to fit in because it's clearly meant for a small penguin. Yeah, but if you look inside, you can see like a big pile of gold and a couple of like stray weapons, a shield, a chest, all these like little bits of stray valuables that are just stuffed to the side. Yeah, and then there's a small door and he basically points to that and says, there is a little lab in there if you wish to experiment and do your alchemy if you wish. I do not know if it is up to your standard, but it is what I would say one of my very fine areas that I will synthesize these well enchanted creatures and items.
Well, that's very nice of you. I mean,
You can't fit in there. I need you to roll a dex check in order to fit through the door. Huh?
Wait, did he say this or?
He's a meta creature, of course. He said that.
Yeah, you're getting it. Yeah, you can fit in there. Look, and he's just like punting you on the ass. It's like trying to get you in there.
Well,
So
if I get it.
you can mention this to your fellow friends. It's just for your lot, not the everybody else. I mean, I'm only going to give this little lab area to you guys because you saved my life. You know, I'm not that I don't trust everybody, but I don't want everyone in my lab. I don't want everyone in my workshop.
No worries.
I will not judge your work. He says, shaking his head. Clearly, without even rolling for insight, he's going to judge your work.
You must know me.
He's going to judge it. He's as a master craftsman. He's going to judge it. But it is there for you to use.
Well, as they say, merci.
Yeah.
Are we just doing things before the evening right now, right?
Yes, at the moment, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna just go down the list for thingy. Is there anybody else who has any building stuff that would like to be thrown in before we go around everybody else? No building?
You mean like building ideas?
Building idea, like just like a vague idea, so I can add it to the list so that I can build it in Tailspire. That's literally all I'm saying.
Well, Penennis is over by the.
A more structurally sound than our actual bedding situation.
Well, that's good.
I was about to mention
That is literally going to change as the time goes on. Unfortunately you have limited resources. You have wood. Most of it is rotten.
Cool.
So this is what we have right now, and in order to make it better, you would need for instance, a druid or somebody to literally help the area grow again. This whole chop down trees, all these areas, all this rotten wood is an area that has essentially trying to be regrown so that it's useful. Like the resources are actually strong wood and other kind of things like that. That's why you literally have a bunch of woodcutters here who are upset and angry. And most of the case, Grudark is literally just breaking trees in half so easily that it just crumbles in his hands. It's not even making snapping noises as he does it. It's just moist branches going, like wet, logs or pieces of paper that he's just stringing out.
I see. Speaking of the druids, being sorry for talking over you. Going.
So anyone else that needs thingy druid? Penenith, are you thinking of a object or a building?
Well, just the obvious stable. He's over talking to Antonio.
Okay.
He wants to talk to Antonio about the horse situation.
All right. as you as you approach this large creature, almost 3 times your size, Antonio, a character that you've never met before, but you do recognize the very familiar witness to a murder on one of your first adventures here. Candace stares at you and goes, "Oh, wait, do I know you?"
Yeah, Candace, it's me, Peneneth. I know I look a little different, but we helped you in Murkwatch.
My dear, you're rather large.
Thank you.
Well, Antonio, I'm going to leave it to you. I have matters to deal with. Try to take care of the horses that are left behind. It is good to see you again, Peneneth. She leans her head thing. She doesn't reach out to take your hand or anything. She's very kind of matter of fact. She does not like being here. She hates being out of this area. She really wants to just go back home. She wants to get on that cart and she wants to leave. You can genuinely get like
she's travels.
And she just walks right past you to the point where leaving the area.
Okay.
Hello, little one.
Hello there, Mr. Antonio. Congratulations on your new post.
Thank you.
I understand that we're low on horses here. Is that right?
We have 6 horses.
Oh my.
The rest, unfortunately, were scattered.
Oh, okay. So I grew up here. I don't know if you knew. Well, you wouldn't know that because we just met. But the elves, when I was little, the elves often used deer for transport. Have you considered maybe we could go out searching for deer, help to calm them, and ask them to come and help us out here so we could have that might work?
You are akin to nature, hmm?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Well, do not worry, little one. We will find what is necessary. Take us, and what I say is, we will find creatures that are willing to help.
Excellent. I want you to know if you need help, I'm your man. I'm your man. I can help if the animals are injured. I want to help you.
I will appreciate your. You can tell that this Antonio doesn't really know common very well. He's trying to find words. But at the same time, like, he's staring at you as if you're talking, but he's like, I don't get every word that's coming out of your mouth. He then leans down and strokes his long beard and kind of leans down to the sense where he just finds like a half broken log and then basically pats like a smaller one beside him before going, these animals are scared. They do not like being threatened. You understand. You find fear in your heart. Candice feels fear in her heart. If you can find creatures that have fear in their heart, and he taps his heart, he taps his chest. You tell me where they are. I will go and try to calm them. And he taps his chest again.
So he's a druid.
No. He's not a druid, no.
Okay.
He is a furblock.
Okay.
Which is well, you could basically look up what a furblock is, but
yeah.
he's native to the Empire, not native to this area. but he does understand animals in a way that you can kind of feel from him. He's very calm and quiet. Like, he's not coming across as loud or obnoxious, or he speaks very slowly. Like, it literally is taking you 20 minutes to get like this whole conversation out of him. Yeah. And he's just trying to be slow and understanding in a way that he can understand, rather than making like you can understand him as well. But he does come across as gentle and more soft-spoken than most of the druids that you're familiar with, that talk in a way that, like, with certainty. Yeah. He's more of a man that is wanting to get across the idea that you can't, like, he can solve a problem for you. You just need to give him the opportunity.
Tell him where it is.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So in response, when Mr. Antonio started stroking his long beard, little Peneneth, he reached up and started pulling on the little hairs that are growing on his chin now, trying to like be akin. And he says, "Okay, I'm your man. You can count on me." And he'll just reach up and pat his hand and walk away.
Okay.
There's a frog over there.
So he, as Peneneth walks away, and kind of thing, you see Antonio basically making his way over to the middle of the camp. Who else? Who else we got? Can we go down the list? Go down the list. We'll go to, you know what? Let's say Nox. Nox, you and the dwarfs, you find yourselves out of the gate, wandering down. You take a couple of men with you, as well as the dwarven hunters, who are very keen to show you the ropes. They go into the woods. The land is not as chaotic or difficult to traverse as you are familiar with Murkwatch. The area has kind of, seems almost like home, almost. Woods behave like woods. There are paths, and there are technically little traps that are set up that you, somebody who is not known as a trapper, can kind of recognize. Like, these are simple animal traps. Yeah. Upon reaching like midday to like evening, yeah, you notice that the men and the dwarves are a little bit more quiet, a little bit more reserved in their cheering for catching or like simple rabbit, simple game. What you do though, can I get a perception check?
Oh, perception.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe a survival check as well, just if you want to like join in the shenanigans of catching some.
Let's just start with the perception.
Okay.
Let's see that too. Oh, that's Croaker. Hello.
Oh, that's Croaker. Croaker. Croaker's with you, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's. Yeah. Well, that's me.
Okay. As you are out in the woods, playing around.
Let's ignore the. First roll will be my perception. Second will be shenanigans.
Okay.
I share most of my.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. So you, with your perception check, you take a moment. The whole forest. You hear the birds. You hear the animals. You hear bugs, insects, the grass, the wind, everything almost normal. Besides Murkwatch being what it usually was, which was hot, sweaty, musky, and everywhere you stepped, you got that familiar black film literally sticking to your flesh. Now, not so much. Literally back to what you are used to from being back to the mainland. All saying that, however, the forest seems to grow quiet, and you see out of the corner of your eye, like eyes in the darkness of these branches, leaning and rustling, and then suddenly just dissipating as something seems to be watching you, watching your friends, watching the trollman with you. You're the only one that seems to notice this, though.
Hmm. With lower, with the lower voice, I will tell the rest of the party, like, do not scatter. Hold close together.
Wait, what do
Let's
you,
wrap up here. Let's wrap up here and leave.
what do you see? One of the men leans into you, clearly like someone who's spotted something that you've seen before. That he's seen
We're
before,
being
not you.
watched. We are being watched. Like, I can't pinpoint it immediately.
I'll
Might
say
need
with
some time.
I'll say with your 20 survival, it's not human. It doesn't move like a human, and you're very familiar with running away from people who are bipedal.
Mm.
So
I'm gonna tell you this much. It ain't gonna be talking to us. It's not.
you hear like the almost crackling of wood snapping as these people are picking up their cages, catching their prey. Even the animals in the cages seem to be a little bit more stricken with like fear and panic, as if they're aware of there's something there. That's probably why they ran into these traps.
Hmm. That's eerie.
Do you so as you guys all pack up and start heading off towards it, they slowly like make their way quietly as they possibly can to head back to the Hawk's Nest. Do you want to be try and lose them, or would you do you want to try and just make it kind of obvious that you're leaving? I say this because you literally have a bunch of like 8 dwarves, well,
Yeah.
6 dwarves and a couple of patrolmen with you.
It's not human. It's not. It's not like on a. I want to say it's not following us for research purposes. It's hunting.
I'll say with your 20, it's watching at a distance. It doesn't seem to be encroaching or approaching you.
Okay. I will give 2 specific orders. The hunters will return to the camp
Mhm.
with the prey, and me and a couple of guards will take a small detour,
Okay.
as if investigating the possible sounds.
Okay.
While I'm at it, I'm going to do a small shenanigan. I will DM you in a bit.
Okay. Thank you.
For now, you can move to someone else.
As we have the area clear up, we will go to.
Why was the ground shaking?
Because someone was doing a funny. Who else? Who's wanting to do something right now?
Well, I would like to talk to Pengus so that we can try to talk to the giant.
Ah, okay. So that'll be Pandad and Mr. Derek, correct?
I was
Yes.
also curious about the store. Or was that the door you Pengus?
This is this is the
Sure.
workshop. This is the workshop area. It seems as you guys approach it, as like you are very familiar with enchants. You're also very familiar with the fact that this area is designated as Pengus's workshop. It's a very full. You can basically sense the arcane magic coming off it. Brightly glittering area. It's almost like the area has air conditioning. The floor is self-cleaning. There's like every enchant that could basically be cast on this little workshop has been. Yeah. And it's literally an area that you kind of are, as a magic user yourself, are very jealous of. The only person that you've ever seen who has something similar to is your mentor yourself. Pandad, on the other hand, he's never seen anything as miraculous or silly as this. Like, this is too much magic. This is essentially like someone just showing off. Yeah. Like even the doorway is glowing so much that it's clearly meant to be like, not even to dissuade people. It's almost like flare on a car. Yeah. Like, he's got racing stripes.
Got fucking underglow.
Yeah.
So Pandad's walking up, kind of like shielding his eyes a little bit, like, what? Why is that so bright?
What do you mean? Huh? You have never enchanted that door before, huh?
I wouldn't even know how to begin.
This thing can light up a whole forest, and he bangs the door.
Let's not try not to. Let's try not to do that. Okay.
Yeah. But
Or you have a shortage of wood.
a shortage of wood? With my friends here, this area unfortunately has lost the things to, the, how you say, plague of this island. Most of the resources that are here, unfortunately, Fix-It has not been able to, fix it, I guess, huh?
Okay.
That's funny.
From all the way
my
the
God.
other side of the camp.
Is that Nox?
No.
So, what can I do for you? You want me to, huh?
We would like you to help us communicate with the giant.
With Grudark, yeah, I see.
Grudark, yes.
Is there something you would like to ask? Eh? Perhaps if you talk to Fix-It, she can also translate for you if you wish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I will say that most cases he is a giant man, and if you fill in the paperwork, he will be able to maybe kind of give you some sort of estimation on what you want.
It's more about the, if you remember the bowl that I showed you the other time.
Oh yes, of course.
Well, I just wanted to see if he can fix it.
Okay.
Fix it for us.
Can I get a perception check from you, Muffin? By the way. Okay. So let me just see. He leans over and kind of like gives Grudark a look, and then whistles. Yeah. Which is weird because he's literally miles away, but there's no noise coming from this penguin. And as you hear him whistle, no sound comes out. And then Grudark literally just essentially turns into like an arcane mirage, disappears, and then reappears literally beside Pengus in that moment.
13.
Okay, I'll get to you in a minute.
Oh, hey.
He leans down, putting down his makeshift trowel. Yeah, which he's been using as an axe. And then puts his large hands out. These things are essentially the size of you. Like your hand is literally you. So he, as if he's expecting you to hand him the bowl.
Well, I do. Wait, who has the bowl? I don't know.
I think Shay has the bowl still. I don't think she ever handed it off.
I'll be right back.
In the meantime, I'm gonna ask about his knowledge of building something on a mountain, a tower on a mountain. I guess how his experiences.
I'll tell you right now. It's kind of a, well, how you would say. Do you see the spring there? He basically points to the waterfall and the area there that's literally like carved into the mountain. That took him quite a while, but at the same time, I mean, he could do that. I guess if it is a structure you wish, it would take some time, of course, like literally getting up there. And he points to the mountain area.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Simple
I
building.
think-
We would need some mortar, probably some. It would probably need some enchantment in order to get it into the mountain like that. Other than that, I think it is doable. Yeah, Grudark. And Grudark literally nods, staring at you, not really breaking eye contact.
Cool.
You would need to supply mortar, though. The rocks around this area are. well, I would say not suitable. Perhaps if you find some sort of one of the hidden mines areas or the quarries that are around this area. That would involve, I don't know, sending some of your men to look for such a thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. We'll see what we can do about that.
Okay. As I said, Miss Fixit over there, she also speaks fluent giant. She can understand for him. Also, she can make the paperwork work so that he can read it, which is also very helpful considering he does not really speak that well. Do you, my friend? Looks up to the man.
Wait, well, he doesn't have a tongue. He speaks giant, though?
Yes, of course.
Right. I don't know why I wouldn't not think that. And, well, I'll just say I'll just talk to him because I know giant a little bit.
Okay.
Like, sorry, I don't know why I didn't think to just, straight talk to you.
He literally looks back at you and goes, almost impressed and like wondering why a giant panda knows giant.
We'll have to grab a drink. It's a long story.
Grudark is one of the finest men, who I would say holds his ale very well. Perhaps you can try recipes, huh? Yeah, you have made a new friend, Grudark, eh? And he smacks him on the ass, walks past. When I say so.
I'm back.
Ah,
Do it in a jump.
yeah. Basically.
High five the ace.
Hello there. The bowl?
Yes.
The large giant man leans down, takes the bowl, tries to put it together, and then looks at it, and then looks at Pengus, who then stares at, he goes, I see. Yes, we will need a very particular type of stone to fix this. Perhaps, maybe, I'm wondering. It is an enchanted item, which I can fix, but sealing the bowl, that will be a little bit harder, especially with the way this certain material is difficult to get. I would think that maybe this might be a little bit harder to craft.
But not impossible.
Not impossible, no. Grudark is a very fine craftsman. He can do it. I will assure you that. If you leave it with me, perhaps I can figure something out, but I will need you to find the replacement material to fix the crack.
Okay. Can't we make another one?
Yes. But making another one would involve probably a longer period. The problem that I have is that the material is very specific. The enchant that is on this bowl, it is meant to hold a key, which is think of it as a magnet.
Mm-hmm.
I can do some research and find where perhaps we can find maybe a replacement for this bowl.
Yes, sure.
But you'll have to leave that
Definitely
with me for a bit.
How long?
Do you have anywhere to go? What other options do you have?
You should find, I guess, not many.
No.
Yeah, sure.
My main concern would be to find perhaps one of the quarries where we can find a lot more of this said material. This is not just your common stone.
How far is the quarry?
I do not know. This land has changed since I have woken up. I'd have to leave that on your front.
Okay.
So where we need to find mortar as well?
You would have to find the mortar, the stone, and most cases, Grudark's tools should make do. We have the workshop for it. But unfortunately, considering the enchant, it needs to be specifically crafted in order to repair it the way it is. If you want to try finding a replacement, that would involve finding another one of those shrines with a familiar bowl and then extracting it, and which would involve breaking the enchantment, which would probably take a lot longer.
and maybe we should talk to Nathaniel about sending a unit to look for this quarry. There.
Agreed, yeah. So, well, while we're dealing with other stuff, that will be nice. Well, if you can spare the man.
You have the troll list, so you can send them out however you want.
Right, I have a whole list
Yeah,
of
yeah.
people. I'm like, yeah, we'll figure it out. Pull out the whole like big wad of papers and be like, yeah, there's somewhere in here.
Can I get back to work?
Yep.
Thank you very
Thank
much. I will enjoy a drink with you in the festival tonight. The feast.
I'll be waiting.
All right, okay, good friend. And he basically waddles off into his like little beacon of light as I want to say Muffin Knox.
Here,
Your croaker, having taken to spying from above, a tree hopping from location to location, staying back slightly away from you and your men. You can see this large creature trying to keep its shadow hidden, as if it's working and moving with the light, with the sun. As the horizon starts to highlight the background, you can, as like sun dances like through trees, you can see this shape clearly far too big to hide itself, only to stop as it reveals like its shadow, only then to descend back into the darkness. This creature has multiple legs. It has a lot. I want to say the noise that you hear, or not you hear from it, but Croaker hears from it, is more of a gurgling, exasperation of like hot air, like a bubbling and then popping. And then I want to yeah, okay. It doesn't spot Croaker though, as it slowly starts to slip back away as you guys start heading off in the other direction from the other party. And in that moment, Croaker is alone. Then returning to you.
Yes, good.
And
I will look at the soldiers with me and go, well, that was a bust. Let's head back to camp.
Okay. As you head back to camp, it's getting to midday, like evening. The sun is setting. Shay? Is there anything you would want to do before?
Just to make sure, Ruby isn't eating a horse, is she?
Ruby is not eating a horse, no. Ruby is...
Roll for horse perception.
Roll for horse perception. No.
Horseception.
Horseception.
It's a tofu horse. It's called a torse.
It's not a horse. As you all remember, Ruby spent a lot of her month away from you guys. She went out by herself and did some self-reflecting of herself. In that time, she hunted. She, she scouted. And she found a lot of like areas that were essentially no good for anyone. But in that time, she did a lot of hunting. She caught a lot of creatures. There's something that looks like a goat. She isn't sure. It was dark. She killed it. She cooked it. And then she leans her axe out, literally carving a nice piece of it and then handing it to Shay as she continues to feast on her continues to eat her meal.
With a decent chunk of whatever this strange beast is, Shay's gonna sit herself down next to Ruby on a log and just enjoy her little snack.
Okay.
Other than that, I think she's just gonna take some time to reflect and maybe read up on some of the paperwork that she's gotten on the missing persons.
Okay. Okay.
Try to glean any hints out of where most of them have happened, at least.
Can I get a? Let me do an investigation check.
Oh boy, let's see how good Shay is at investigating.
I guess like if you want to like compare notes, you can also do it with somebody else if you want advantage. If someone wants to help you.
I need to pull up the character sheet. There we go. Character sheet, investigation. Oh no, that's not good.
So you can take someone else's investigation bonus, or you can just have advantage if someone says, "I'll help you with that."
Would I be able to help? Do I know anything?
What's your investigation check?
My +4.
Okay, so yes, you would be able to help in the fact that like you. In what manner would you try to help though? You're just going through paperwork at this point, or just pointing out irregularities or something like that.
Right. Well, even though the land has changed, right? Peneneth knows the basic, some of the basic land, maybe dangers. Plus maybe whatever he learned from the druid.
Okay.
With Spineta's help, that would be. I rolled a 6, so that would be a 10.
Yeah. Sorry. No, I got an 8.
If it's just Shay by herself, that's a 5. I have a -1.
Well, it would be it would be like you would take the investigation check from Peneneth. If you were going to use her score, she would make the roll,
Okay.
or you would roll with advantage. Those are the choices you get.
Oh. Okay. Sorry.
Well, if I'm. So I rolled once, I got a 6. If I'm rolling with advantage, let's toss this one out, I guess, see what I get.
God.
The paper.
Shay's looking at these papers, and she can, for a short moment, completely forgets how to read common and is fucking flipping through them, and just gets so a little frustrated. Like, none of these fucking papers are in Orcish. What the fuck? She gets frustrated. She like puts them back in her backpack and just goes back to like snacking. Like, god damn it! It's fucking. I'm tired of reading common. It's bullshit. Why is that bed soggy?
You're just focused on the OCD nature of one of the beds being soaking wet.
Yeah, she gets frustrated and she fucking takes out her aggression on anything else besides the people around her.
Shay. So Peneneth wants to comfort Shay. Shay. I found us good beds. They're not wet like Mr. Derek's
not
bed.
Soggy.
What's wrong with that?
I nothing. We orky looking people like dry beds. It's
Weird.
yeah. We're not fancy like you. We're just
It
down to earth.
proves that Pengus is Derek is one of those characters that literally falls asleep and has a fear of exploding in his bed. So having a water bed is one of those things that is literally just seen as protection.
Keeps the flames away.
With Peneneth's help, Shay's gonna calm down a good bit. Still frustrated with her lack of understanding of the fucking common language spoken by everyone here. She's gonna fucking go and sit in her non-soggy bed next to Derek's and
I think. Do I know Orcish?
I don't know. As the evening hits, though, you have everybody coming. Nox returns from his patrol. One of the patrolmen who is on guard. As you come running in, you see a man, Nox. Literally, I'm running out the woods behind you just as you're coming in. Yeah.
Mhm.
And let's just say he's here. He's also reading with a man here as he comes flying in behind you. The man known as Utan, yeah, comes running in almost like disheveled, his face drenched with sweat. The man is clearly like frightened, and he has a guard that's essentially just been has been chasing after him. to the point where as soon as he reaches into the thing, the klaxon of the alarm goes off, and he collapses, almost like fainting, like his skin white, with fear, and as if he's been running since he reached this area, this road. He didn't come. He clearly wasn't following you, but he was essentially you kind of like reached each other while heading to the camp. Yeah.
I see.
And
So he collapsed. He collapsed on approaching the camp, right?
before you even got to the camp, basically, like
Mm.
he like on the road as you guys were coming out of the forest to head back up to the mountain path. He basically came running out of the woods, like from the north. So
Can I do a quick perception check to see if they are marked with the hawk thing,
yeah, sure. Hmm.
even if they're not registered as a camp?
Yep. Hmm.
Rovers. That's a 9.
A 9. You don't notice if he has one or not. So it's clearly not on his person anyway. From you giving a quick glance over, unless you want to do like an
So
investigation
one
check.
collapsed, the other exhausted, right?
The other one is collapsed, and the soldier, who you don't recognize, but he's clearly wearing like the uniform. He's wearing a Greyhawk uniform.
Well, I will tell the guards to help the man up.
Yeah.
While quickly approach the soldier and ask him, report your name and state your name and business.
Sorry, sir. We've been running all day. There's a cultist on the road leading from North Camp, sir. And he leans down to like get his flask and kind of opens it, taking a swig and then dropping it and then trying to hand it to his companion.
Eddie, soldier, get in. We'll need a full report.
We lost 3 men, mate. Sorry, sir. Some bloody creature came out of the bloody woods. I don't know what the hell happened, but they like disintegrated. I thought the bloody cultists were the only people that we needed to worry about on these bloody roads.
I thought so too before I arrived here, soldier.
Yeah.
At ease. We'll see. We'll figure things out once we're in the camp and safe.
Can I get another investigation check too, just from you?
From me?
Yeah, just giving a quick look.
I'm having all the action today.
Oh yeah.
What the hell?
Well, you left the camp.
I see. Well, I got
Because
my
he knows.
list.
Oh.
Oh shit!
Okay, you are noticing this man has been running for a while. He's running on adrenaline. His friend who collapsed
Obviously no longer running on adrenaline.
is no longer running on adrenaline. His face is white. The other man, you notice that his whole back and I want to say like bottom like of his leg is steaming, like almost cooking.
Okay.
And he's outside of the camp, even though we see these.
This isn't happening in front. I'm just using this as a representation.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. They were just about to get to the camp when this happened. Yeah. So he literally like as you say the words stand down, he finishes taking his drink, and then before he even puts the lid back on, he just collapses, collapses, and you can see like down his arm and down his leg, his tunic and his pants, his clothing is essentially fused in is almost like you can see bone.
Okay, that's
And-
bad. Yeah, I'm grabbing him. Do I have anyone around me, or everyone carried the man in the camp?
There's the 2 patrolmen that you have with you as
Yeah.
well, so they can help you pull him up.
Yeah, I will grab him and go inside now.
As you guys make your way in, one of the soldiers sees this commotion, literally goes, puts his hand up, and they can see somebody coming running from the quartermaster's tent, running over with some potions and such, running over. They take him inside and then throw him on the table as a commotion kind of essentially happens around the camp. The man, clearly not conscious from the intense pain that has now hit his system. I will say, can I get 3 d20s from you?
From me?
Yeah, just from you. Just for story reasons.
This is gonna be horrible.
Mm.
Let's see those ones. Look, pretty decent.
Okay.
Do
Oh,
I need any? Do I need any modifiers?
No. He's not dead. That's all. I was just testing to see how many death rolls you made. Okay. So he's not dead, but he's definitely unconscious and almost comatose. As his partner is sitting next to him in a chair, like literally looking into a bowl of soup that's been prepared for him. Ardenaxon. It's literally all he can say as he stares into this bowl.
Okay. Is this do I roll insight or what kind of knowledge in order to figure out what the hell is it? Is it a language I don't speak, or is it a name or something?
You don't recognize what it is.
Yeah, I don't recognize.
You don't recognize it. It could be a name. It could be a different language.
Hmm.
He every time like someone calls to him or tries to get his attention, he just stares at them and just can't help but say the name Ardenaxon.
Okay. Well, I will basically tell anyone around me to take care of them and tell me if anything happens.
Okay. As the
But upon leaving, I will just basically tell the guards to not be too relaxed. We don't know what to expect from them. One man is obviously not fully intact in the head.
As you leave the building, Fix It literally comes up to you and says,
Oh, that's a Totem. He was one of the head I want to say messenger scouts from the North Camp. So the fact that he's here, well, that's usually he comes alone. So I guess something bad happened at the North Camp.
And that's gonna be, I guess, the new thing to report. I'm gonna add this to the list of our problems.
Yeah, well. All right, sir. I'll try and report if his condition changes.
Thank you. See you at the feast.
Well, kind of lost my appetite. That's like pure bone.
Yeah. After all this commotion, I will join the rest.
Yeah. Okay. As the
I guess the only thing I would do is I approach any of the scouts
Mhm.
that went with me and basically pass to all the men, do not stay outside of the camp the moment the sun starts going down.
Okay.
As far as we're concerned right now, Shadow is the end.
Yep. Okay. As you as that message gets passed around, people are a little stressed. This area was supposed to be a safe haven. It was supposed to be somewhere where you could relax. And technically that's true. But upon leaving, you've been given a sharp reminder that this place is still essentially a wild area that is not completely under the Empire's control. There are still unknown entities. There is also a lot of things that, unfortunately for you, are on your plate to deal with. As the evening hits, and we have, do I even have that? I don't think I do. As the evening hits, the sun sets. We have our, here we go. Is this one part? Like this?
We have our feast.
Yeah. You guys are having your feast. You're gathered around the table, the fire, and you find yourself a little overwhelmed with so much going on. But as it is technically your responsibility now, you are all settled in front of the fire. A boar has been especially put out and cooked. Bits and pieces are handed out. Bowls are thrown around. One of the very strong casks from Brewdark has been opened, and these casks are giant casks, so they're definitely they can feed the whole camp. As the evening hits, though, Nathaniel stays inside. He's trying to stay focused as much as he can. He has a lot of things to deal with, and now not only that, but he has an injured scout from the North Camp. As the evening hits, though, what are you guys going to get up to? What is your decision making? You have essentially one thing on your mind at the moment, which is what is your focus for the next day?
Going over notes with Pandad, Shay is going to kind of once again try to figure out where a lot of these missing persons are taking place, seeing if they are primarily in the east, as was hinted at earlier by Nox, or suggested earlier by Nox. And kind of, while thinking to herself, figure out which way she should suggest that the party begin travel. So, going over to good old Pandad. Pandad, going over all the papers, I got a little frustrated earlier because whatever, doesn't matter. Do you remember which, where a lot of these missing persons were reported?
I think they're, if I remember correctly, they're reported kind of all over, between just different areas of like where the bandits have invaded, and I mean it's a lot of bandit interactions are being seen more in the east now, and the knowledge that I have is that Saul's in the east-ish, and that could be tied in with kind of some of these
The missing
people.
persons?
You'll
But I think it's kind of a lot of all over.
You'll say that the missing people, no one has ever like been found. Yeah. So it's literally these missing people have gone like it's just escalated. It's not like every so often someone will show up. Like so far, no one has reported as missing and then shown up somewhere else. Yeah. So it's clearly it could be connected, but yet again, the only way you could know is if you went out and actually looked, you know. The papers and secondhand accounts are only going to get you so much.
So, Panda, which direction do you think that we should go? Because we do have the cultists northward and the bandits to the east. Whom do you think would be the more dangerous of the two?
I want to say we should head to the east, but sounds like we should head north, and north right now is having a lot of problems. So dealing with the cultists and helping with the north could help secure some of the missing people, maybe?
Or should we perhaps put this to a vote for the rest of the crew?
I think we should definitely, see what the rest of the crew thinks, but I think I'd like to go after Saul, but I think we need to take care of the North Camp.
While I agree that the North Camp should be taken care of, Saul could have information that he could barter off. Because he was he did infiltrate us for a while and then was in custody before escaping, so he could have made his way off with Tyr knows what.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of my worry, too.
He is definitely a traitor that might know some things. He literally managed to escape using some of your own people and turn traitor with them. So, like, he has some influence, especially in Murkwatch, which is something that's a little bit less of a problem here because you're all specially chosen to come here. Like, there might be a couple, like, loose ends, like, working here because you can't vet everyone. But there's not, like, a 300 people. It's literally 50-ish, roundabout. Yeah. It's a little bit more controllable from this area.
Okay. Well, I suppose either before or after the feast we can discuss with everyone else what we should what course of action would be best to take.
Yeah. I would like to stop the traitor.
I believe we all would.
It's
Just
catching.
worry of losing more if we let the North just take care of their own at the moment, since they're losing so much.
There is a lot of land that's being lost in the north, and it has been for a while, mostly because of the Dragonfire not being arriving on time. Also, that area doesn't have the benefit of the Mythal. So it's still like that encroaching plague is literally still filling up roads, making it hard to get supplies to that camp. The last people that were there were essentially Derek and his lot, mixed with a bunch of patrolmen that were essentially looking after this area and trying to clear it out to the west side to head towards the elves, which is essentially was met with a lot of resistance. And not only that, but that's why elves essentially showed up in the first place. They were saying, hey, maybe you should stop trying to find us. Here we are. You know.
Hello.
Well, that was polite of them, I suppose.
But as I said, it is it's your choice in which direction you guys want to go. So if you guys want to put it to a vote and decide, I would recommend, getting all the information out there and focusing on what you want to take care of first.
The spider first? Because I believe...
I mean, we haven't heard about... has Nox shared the information of the spider just yet? I guess we know from Ruby a little bit.
You know a little bit about
I
spider.
think he shared it with the rest of the people, like, in camp, but I don't know if word has necessarily reached us yet.
Yeah.
No, I haven't talked to anyone yet on about the beast specifically. I'm waiting for a good time to report it, where it wouldn't be, let's just say, it wouldn't sow more panic than I already did with a simple warning.
Yeah, so all we know is that outside big danger.
There's clearly something that's around this area that is picking off stray people.
Got it. So currently, Granddad's main concern currently is either like trying to get Saul or trying to fix the North Camp. And kind of thinking North Camp, since we're so close, is a little bit more feasible than...
North Camp is literally a day and a half away, depending on how bad the road is with the current encroaching overgrowth.
Yeah.
The downside is that, like, the problem is that it's bandit infested and cult infested at this point. So you would have to take a risk going north and having to deal with essentially the things, and not to mention the wildlife too.
I mean, both directions are going to be infested with bandits and cultists.
Yes, most likely.
And any direction we choose to travel will be infested with fucking angry wildlife.
Yes, most likely.
So it's literally just choosing a direction we want to walk and how far we want to walk.
Yeah.
At this rate.
Do you have any ideas, Shay?
We We can also include
Well-
everybody else in this too. It doesn't have to be just the, the leaders of the group.
Let's-
No, it's just us.
letting-
No, it's just-
Oh, okay, never mind. It's only the it's only the first and second in charge.
Yeah.
We're in charge.
Yeah.
Third, I want a second and third. Daniel.
Wait, what
We
am I
can
again?
get Knox in here too.
You're an armsman, technically. Even though you're a wizard,
no,
you're
I
technically
mean,
an
if
armsman,
anybody
Pengus.
else-
Wait, I'm lower than the toad?
Yep.
Yeah, you're lower than the town.
Yep.
Fuck. I'll go back to the workshop. I don't care anymore.
It's only because I'm being cheeky with it. Don't worry.
I love that the fucking toad outranks Derek.
Toad outranks most of this camp. Don't worry.
That's true.
Okay.
Okay.
Meal time is kind of like gone. The music's finished playing. You've got like everybody who is going to be working in the morning, literally going, settling in, calming themselves, having their their nightly tea, and then going off to settle for the evening.
Such a British thing.
You find, I see tea. When I say nightcap, it's basically a nightcap. They're literally having a drink. But so as they do that, you feel like the only people that are around the campfire now is Pandad, Nox, Shay, Peneneth, and Mr. Derek himself. Literally, just almost kind of like you feel like, this is the last moment that you're gonna have today without having to decide where you guys are gonna go and come to some sort of resolution on what your thingy is. If anyone else has any more points to throw out there, now would be a good time.
I think North Camp should be our biggest worry, purely because hunting down the traitor is good, but I doubt he will amass a lot of help in outside of just Murkwatch. But if we enforce the North Camp, not only we will get their loyalty to us specifically, it will make a life much better for Murkwatch as well. Which will make it much harder to, enroll more traitors. Well, I suppose we just keep establishing our presence here.
Yeah, so
and then deal with the traitor. He's not in the immediate danger. We have 2 wounded running from the North Camp. I'd say that's more pressing. I'm not gonna talk about the beast outside.
Yeah.
Purely because I made pretty direct orders, so that should stave off that particular threat for now. I don't think it's gonna get too brazen.
Okay.
But I will be keeping it in my mind, and if time will allow, we will discuss it with all the magic users around here.
Okay.
So far, Shay's in agreement with. I'm assuming you said some of that in character.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Shay is definitely in agreement with Nox and Pandad for that matter, that North Camp is pretty important, and what Nox has mentioned about the influence gain. So Shay's vote is for North Camp.
Does Peneneth have anything to add?
Ribbit. Oh,
Okay.
Neneth had noticed the toad behind him and was trying to talk to the toad to see if he was a person in toad form.
Okay. How do you want to play that out, Nox? Do you want to play that out at all?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
So it's just a toad
Oh.
staring at
It's just a toad. Well,
it's just a toad that's staring.
I was considering, because like in my training, right, we changed up some of my spells, so I was considering speak with the animals to see if I could find anything out with, it's a.
Go for it.
But he hears everybody talking and says, no, North Camp sounds good to me. I'm with you guys.
Not paying much
I'm part of
attention, are you?
I'm part of the team. Well, the frogs back here. I thought, are there more frogs? Are what? I don't.
This whole time you've been hearing
Nox,
nothing
do
but
you
frogs.
have your toad? I saw this toad over here when I was talking to the stable guy. There was a toad over. I just keep seeing toads everywhere. Is this toad following me? Nox, is this your toad?
Let me check. Nox will extend his hand and whistle, and yeah. Yep, that was mine.
Okay.
Is Derek doing anything besides sleeping in his wet bed right now?
I'm sulking.
You're sulking.
Derek, are you okay over there, buddy?
Toads having more rights than wizards.
Yeah, look, I'll talk to Nathaniel about maybe getting you a promotion, okay?
He's
Derek, maybe the toad should have he might like the wet bed. Maybe you should give him your fancy bed.
you have
Now I have to give my bed.
Now putting in it. That's not very kind towards our magical friend here.
There's the stack of logs over there.
You also have to remember that Nathaniel and all of the Greyhawk members are they're military. Yeah. They follow a military rank. There's like captain, lieutenant, sergeant, all that kind of thing. Master sergeant, etc. And then armsman, right? Now, technically Derek is not an armsman. He doesn't have a rank because he's part of the civilian part of the military. You're literally a civilian asset.
I'll show you how a fireball is civilian.
You're technically a civilian, right? But you are hired to assist with the military campaign. Yeah. So as I say, it's you might be sulking, but in reality, you're very aware of your rank. Yeah. But that
I was aware of my rank, but not the toad.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's say, like, what's the rest of your evening looking like, guys?
Snacking on funny meats and drinking with Panda and the rest of the gang.
Okay.
And trying to get comfortable with Pennineth drinking alongside her since he's a bit older now.
Okay.
He's eating a root vegetable that he dug up along the way.
And Dad would like to also put to a vote, I guess, for the using our soldiers to go to search for a quarry to help either repair the bowl for the enchantment shit, and to find mortar for building a tower up on the mountain.
Okay.
See if we think that's worth it, or if we should wait.
I think that's a good use of our resources.
I'd say.
However,
I'd say mortar can be an issue after we deal with the North Camp, because that will improve our chances to find it.
True. You will have there will be scouts in the North Camp who will know this area better than any of the scouts of this area.
So yeah, that probably should be. They should concentrate on expanding the camp currently here.
All right, that's fine with me. By me, I just want to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend sending out cutting parties outside the camp as well. We need to create clearings.
You have the woodcutters who are essentially doing that when they're doing it with the help of Grudark. So they're just going to continue doing that unless they're told to do something specific. So.
Yeah. For now, then it's fine.
Okay.
I think that's a good game plan.
As the evening comes to an end, I think Shay and Pennineth want to have a talk.
Ah, yes, that is true.
Driving Penenneth crazy all night. Okay.
So get comfortable. It's the birds and the bees.
Yeah, so everyone else seems to be going to bed or having a late night or doing their own little shenanigans or whatever. You have Shay and Penenneth literally have a moment where they take a moment to have a little discussion or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll step away from the fire and those pretend people that aren't really there.
Hey Shay, can you put a torch on for a minute just because I can't light this very well? Thank you.
Of course.
2 lights.
That'll do. All right.
That'll do.
I need to get the lighting right for the camera. Oh.
Ah, darn it. Wait.
And action.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Camera
So
magic.
what is it you wanted to?
Oh, I just moved. Too far behind you.
It's okay. There you go.
Okay. Hey, Shay. Shay, how you doing?
A little stressed dealing with.
Are you mad at me? Are you mad at me?
What? Why would I be mad at you, Penenneth?
Well, cause I kind of escaped. You were watching me, and I kind of took off. And don't be mad at me, cause Shay, those people died, and I could have done something. I could have done something about that, and I just got mad. And I had some good talks with Treya, and those people died.
I'm not mad at you, Penenneth. I understand that you needed time for yourself, and that you're, quite frankly, growing much quicker than I or probably anyone else thought you would. So,
No, I don't know
you're
why. It's so weird.
you're now a growing young man now, I suppose, which sounds a little weird considering just last month you were barely up to my thigh.
Yeah.
But dealing with death is never quite easy. Take it from me, my entire goal is trying to help people, trying to save the innocent and do the best I can. Sometimes failure is a part of the job, and you have to take the losses with the wins. It's never easy, and it doesn't necessarily get easier. You just, as you grow, you get used to it.
So Shay, did you meet that guy, that elf Kedwin? You talked to him a little bit here. Did you meet him back at Murkwatch?
I spoke with him back in Murkwatch, yeah.
Yeah, it was when I was hiding as a fly. I saw him and I was like, oh my gosh, it's another elf. And I wanted to go talk to him, but I was a little afraid. And then I was just watching him, and then he just turned and he was like, well, are you gonna say something or what, boy? Like, he saw me even though I was a fly. So I unflied and we talked, because he knew about that Nudarth guy, that big creepy hooded man called me, the ghosty guy.
The doll?
The doll?
No, Jadal.
Jadal? No.
The big ghosty guy was Jadal, wasn't he?
Manic, that
Yep.
wasn't Jadal, was it? The ghosty guy?
Could have been. You don't know.
Oh, we don't know. Okay.
Shay's connecting dots because she doesn't speak Elvish. She just assumes the big ghosty guy was Jadal.
It's a big shaped figure with the hood. So yeah, could have been. Could have been.
Okay.
Spooky
So,
boy.
well, maybe I don't know, but I asked him about who Nudarth was and why he called me that, and he didn't say a lot, but he said that Nudarth, there's all these legends, and that he might have been all kinds of things, and it's kind of scary. And it's not me though. I asked him, like, am I Nudarth? Because that was but he said I wasn't, that I was Penenneth.
I had spoken with him about the Nudarth and Jadal situation as well, and he had told me that all the stories were from before his time by a couple hundred years, and I'm not sure of what to make of it myself.
Okay, I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna be slower and gonna be better. You'll see.
Well, I don't think you were doing bad beforehand. It's just with age comes experience and responsibility. So running off on your own all the time, well, you remember what happened that first time you sprinted through the doorway? Wasn't very fun in there.
No. And then when I got that black stuff in my mouth because I wanted to look in that room, that was so icky. Yeah.
Responsibility means not only keeping others safe, but sometimes yourself, because you stress me out, Panina.
I'm gonna help. I'm gonna help keep others safe too. You'll see.
I know you will. I know.
I'm glad
Come
you're
on.
not mad at me. I thought you were mad at me.
No. While you do stress me, I'm not mad at you.
Let's have some drink. Come on, Shay.
Panina,
Want some of my cup?
Panina, what do you keep in this cup anyway?
It's swamp gas.
You're still drinking that? Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's so yummy. I
don't
can't
know
believe you
how
don't like it.
It tastes like
Womp.
it tastes like moss.
It literally
dirt.
does. Yep, it
It
does.
tastes like home.
Home.
Okay.
Well, let's head to bed, bud.
As you guys, as you head to bed and set yourself, moment of rest, the day comes. The dawn hits you. You hear that in the night, Nox, you are woken around about 5 a.m. to knowledge that the two men that you had found, once again, the man was found basically with no change. His skin tinted white. The smell of sulfur on his palms and his essentially every piece of hair on him. The other man, unfortunately, didn't make it through the evening. Let me just fix this.
Which one?
The one who was scalded to death.
Yeah, we didn't. I didn't have high hopes for him.
I unfortunately, thanks to Shay for picking the dice for this evening.
Daylight.
I see. So I break my ass stabilizing him. Yeah.
So unfortunately, he didn't make it. Upon hearing that, they literally are like they're treating the body with as much respect as they can. Nobody technically knows the man. He's not one who's familiar to them. The other man, Totan, who survived, the scared scout, hasn't been able to shift his.
I guess you
journey.
named him Ardenaxin when asked, so I did not.
Ardenaxin. Ardenaxin! Ardenaxin!
So
He screams basically, almost like that name is kind of like filling his brain.
you're not helping.
No. Not a name that's familiar to you. It's not a word that's familiar to you. As the day hits, you all wake up, and Antonio, he is setting some horses aside. He's found two that were essentially left by your familiar Candace. It's not a lot, but it's two that are essentially used for A, messages to get back to Murkwatch, and B, the other one is essentially in case something happens to the first horse. It's kind of a little bit integral to maybe have yourself getting some more horses or some sort of messengers that would benefit in that regard. Perhaps keep your eyes a little bit more peeled for transport. Nathaniel literally comes and sees you guys in the morning, or giving you a look over, saying, "So, you decided what you're going to be doing? What's
I'm going to Disneyland. No,
Nope.
we're going to North Camp.
the most pressing nudge?
We are not going to. Who, Knox? Who told you that?
What is Disneyland?
Don't worry about it.
Another reality.
Another world. I will show you the world."
It was something Derek was rambling about in his sleep. He woke us up a couple times during the night.
Ah,
Something about giant rats.
Do you
I
mean-
don't know.
Paris. Ah. I have been to Disneyland. Aha.
I think he mentioned Pixar at one point. I have no idea.
No, I started.
You started this.
something.
You've started this, and now
It
it's
was you.
you did
My
this.
fault.
This is your fault, Knox.
So,
There's a mermaid.
I live all reporting to Brando.
the more
How can I report someone?
Copyright
I
infringement.
think it's racism. You can just revert it.
Just copyright the stream.
So, you guys
While Peneneth is finding out what's going on with Fix It and talking her up and
again.
seeing if she needs anything
Fix
before
It.
he leaves.
Okay, Fix It's like, "Hi there, Peneth. Nice to see you." Oh.
Hey, how you?
Fuck's
Did you
sake.
sleep good?
Oh, here you go. I was supposed to. Nathaniel said to give you this, and she basically goes, like really trying really hard to lift this like crate that's clearly too big for her.
And then it's gonna jump through the hole to help.
Oh, showing off, huh? I think I can't do it? Oh, well.
Oh, I know you can. I know you can do it. I know you.
Anyway, this is for you. And she basically like drops it, and then you can hear glass going cling. And there's like there's a couple of blankets in there, and there's 6 potions. These are cure wounds potions. They're for your party to distribute among yourselves.
6 cure wounds. Nice.
Yep, 6 potions of cure wounds.
Okay, each one of us.
Whatever, distribute it as you like. The blankets are essentially just like makeshift like travel kits, bed rolls, like travel kits. They have like rations in there, all that kind of all the good stuff. And other than that, she's like,
So, I think that's everything for you guys.
Thanks, Fix It. He's gonna like go to maybe hug her, but then he shakes her hand.
I mean, you know, I... I've got to
See you
go.
later.
and she leaves. She just leaves immediately. And the raptor is just staring at it the whole time, going,
Does anyone else notice this transpire?
No, nothing. No one does. No one's paying attention to it.
No one sees Penitent's cringy exit. Good.
As you guys all gather in the central area of the camp, and Nathaniel is
Before that,
No,
may
yep.
I approach Pengus Merchant?
yeah, sure, yeah, you can. Yep.
But I approach him and greetings. I'm here to collect.
Ah, yes, of course. Let me get out my long, strong whip. And he reaches into his packet.
What?
And he pulls out this curled, almost scorpion tail. And then basically hands it to you. I think this is essentially what you are looking for, no? Also, I would like to say, here you go, friend. I found this, and I think perhaps you can make use of it. And he basically takes a ornamental bell, like a hand, you know, one of those bells that you shake, like hear ye, you know, those kind of things. He's got like he basically hands you one of those.
Doomsday bell.
Yeah, and he hands that to you and goes, perhaps you can make some use of this, eh?
Much appreciated.
And-
I'll see what can be done.
Just remember to if you notice any other special items or you know, materials, be sure to bring them back to me, huh? Remember to tell your friends too.
Sure. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, as you guys all gather in the central hub of the area, you have decided to move to North Camp. Upon doing so, Nathaniel essentially meets you at the gate and gives you a hands up. He says, "You guys are heading to North Camp?" "Yes." "So, what I'd like to know is, the problem that I have is that North Camp is essentially a dangerous road. You're going to meet a lot of stuff there. I wish I could get you there quicker. Unfortunately, we've only got one horse, and I'm sending that back to Murkwatch. So I'm sorry to say, but you're going to have to go by foot. The road is not keen on horses or travel at any point. Mr. Toten over there," and he points to the quartermaster's building. "He was our best scout from North Camp, and if he's having trouble and barely made it back, I'm a little worried for you guys. But you guys can take care of yourselves. You've gotten out of a lot of scrapes. You fought some godlike, abyssal creatures. So, all I can say is just keep yourself safe. And remember, as soon as you get to North Camp, I need word back."
Right?
Lieutenant, he's talking to you.
But
She nudges hand at him like the ribs. Like,
Is that-
that's you.
what? It's 5 o'clock. What?
I figured he's talking to
yeah.
the group. not just-
No, he's talking to basically everybody. But like, so, I guess you guys are heading off that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Penen's taking a quick bath. He wants to smell nice when he says goodbye.
Smell. Okay, so we'll say that you do that as you were, as you're running towards the camp. As the gate ends up, as you guys end up leaving the camp, you end up heading along the North Road, and we can
Frog.
quickly get to this.
Ooh.
Just so we can set this up a little bit. It's the day, correct? You're leaving in the morning.
We're leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like any responsible group of adults who need to
So-
be somewhere in a timely fashion.
What I'm gonna do is,
And Neneth would have distributed a potion to everybody.
yeah, okay. Everybody who wants a potion takes one. Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
over here, guys, if you guys can technically come over here.
I'm not loaded
Okay.
in
Well,
yet.
tell me when you
Yeah,
are,
same.
and I'll tell you where we are. So you make your way along this path area. You're essentially following a path that's been carved out several times. Most of the overgrowth is kind of like decayed, but there are still remnants of it because this North Camp area is still affected by the plague. It's affected by the pestilence. It's affected by this weird enchantment that is filling this island with certain parts of this island. Anyway, let me just spawn everybody.
Yeah, I
on
don't
this
think
map.
we were summoned.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Are you not on this map?
No.
No, our character's
see
not
the
on
map.
No, no,
Yeah,
you
but I
you
don't-
see the map. You don't have any of your characters.
Yeah, we see the
But
map.
Right.
I just want you guys to come over here first. Come over here,
Okay.
so you guys are aware of it. So when I summon your
We're-
characters,
I'm not on the board.
you're not.
No,
Okay.
no, no. He's just talking about like put us
No.
in this general area.
Okay. So I'm like, this is not important because we're not going to be playing it, but I'm going to summon you guys here anyway, so you get aware. So could you guys set your the order you guys are in as you're walking along? Yeah.
Of course, as soon as
Once I do
soon
it.
as we're
So,
all
yeah.
here.
So as you guys are walking along this road, is there any like conversations or whatever you can maybe distract chat with? That would be great. While I, literally put you guys on the board. Thank you.
Boy, that fix it. She's got a Nito companion. That dragony thing makes the cutest sounds.
You are spending a fair bit of time with the quartermaster, aren't you, Banana?
Whoa, she needed help.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm sure she did. I'm sure she did, Penny.
Okay.
So, no, Penin, are you going to be growing up a lot faster to the next days, or
You know, That's a good question. Taria, the 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 archmage, she thought that maybe the more I use my magic, the more I might grow. I hope I'm not dead tomorrow. 'Cause
Well, if
I
you
feel
don't use your magic,
but I need to use what I have to help. So
but you also need to live. I mean, that's a big price to pay to live, but
Derek does have a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Continued living is a fairly important thing.
mm,
As you
I'm gonna be behind Shay.
as you guys make your way forward down this path that clearly has been traveled for, can I get some perception checks and literally
I just want to see.
yeah, just some overall perception checks just for this. All right, Pengus
well,
is
I said I don't want to see.
Pengus is too busy staring at his book.
Shay got a 19.
Okay.
16 for Penny.
For your
Right.
perception
Got
checks, as you continue to make your way down this road, you find that there is a lot of noise, lots more animals, less toads, and less rumblings from like Murkwatch that you're kind of curious for. This area is not as bad as Murkwatch, as the area around Murkwatch. You think maybe because the mythal has taken the aura from the mythal has taken its toll, and this like almost decreased the corruption of this area. But it could just be that this area was never that strong with the corruption itself. As you come to this clearing, you see that there is a bridge leading across the island. Now, upon seeing this bridge, are you approaching it or what? What is your game plan? May I ask?
So with our perception checks, did we? Is this the north? Is this the
I will
north
say
camp?
with your perception checks, the thing that you spotted was this bridge is here before you it basically stepped upon it, like you just discovered it. You noticed that there's a structure, and you essentially stopped yourself from going up to it and expecting it without maybe like I don't know, being a bit more careful considering the nature of things.
Wait, why are
How-
you stopping?
How
Knox.
far are we from North Camp?
Nox, you're pretty good at being unnoticed sometimes, aren't you?
That sounded like somewhat backhanded, but yes.
All right. Despite the fact that it was a little snarky, how comfortable do you feel about sneaking up along the river in case there is something up there on that bridge?
Sometimes I feel like you're not paying attention. Nox approaches the river, just quickly bends over and sends the croaker in.
Okay.
You don't have to send it. You can.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to. It's as you do that, I will can I get everyone? Can I get a stealth check from everybody?
Fuck.
I'm good at this. Wait. Okay.
All right, hold on. I roll with disadvantage for stealth, so I can get worse than a 10.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got a 7.
I got an 11. Oh, nice one.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Oh no!
Well, that ruins it.
That's why I got a 7. I was right behind you, and you tripped and fell, and we both.
Yeah, so Shay's really not good at stealth. Her armor gives her disadvantage to begin with. So while the others are trying to sneak, Shay gets confused. Like, why the fuck are you guys crouching? What are you doing? And
She starts singing.
Yeah, Shay hums herself a jolly little tune, and she's like, kind of like just continues down the path a little bit, just do.
As you find yourself about to like lead off, Croaker drops from your hood. Shay turns round, almost like twisting like the branches underneath her, making the loudest crack, almost louder than the crack of Grudark when he was snapping woods. And in hearing that, you hear the familiar, "What's that? What's that noise?" "We got ourselves some fresh meat, boys!" And as you see a familiar red scabbard uniform stand on the bridge, two men staring towards you as these large, I want to say beefier men, like clearly brutes, yeah, are now coming down the bridge, heading towards you, clearly not threatened by the amount of people that are there. In that moment, as these two men charge towards you, as a man steps forward on the bridge, on the toppest point of it, looking over the over this bridged wall. You see a vacant look in his eyes, and a familiar black treacle across his lips. As his hand reaches out and points towards your party, you set a wave of what looks like insects pours from his fingertip and starts heading towards you. And we're going to end it there.
Oh, shit.
Nice. To be continued.
To be continued. As you were caught off guard, unfortunately. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks to Shay and Peneneth.
Well, I mean, it
I
happens.
think it's primarily Shay.
God damn it, Shay.
It's okay. It happens. That's why I tried getting away from the rest of the group, so hopefully they don't spot
I will say this: everybody who is in the current positions, just leave you the way you are. So when we come back 2 weeks from now, we can set it from there. This will be the combat encounter next week, or not next week, but 2 weeks from now. Thank you very much, everybody, for hanging out as always. We are gonna do. What do we got?
Maybe you should make the challenge for 20,000.
I mean, it's meant for that for a reason. I'm not gonna change it. I'm not gonna change it. Okay.
Why?
Because that would be cheating.
That would be cheating.
Okay. If people don't want to spend their points, then they don't want to spend their points. And they'll.
I mean, I'm a little disappointed we didn't get it. However, it's better than 30,000.
Well, let's just say that like these 6 potions that you got, well, they're gonna be nice. It could have been 12. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, hey, somebody dropped another $2,000.
Those points are essentially just gonna go back to you guys anyway. So
3,000 more.
3K.
yeah.
3K.
Yeah, we're missing 3,000.
But anyway, thank you for hanging out, guys, as always. I don't know where we're gonna rate. I guess we can rate somebody. Who we got? Oh wait, I think it's Lime's birthday, right? Yeah, we might do that. We might do Lime. Unless there's somebody doing Tailspire or whatever. I doubt there is.
Lawful Stupid's doing D&D.
Everybody,
I don't.
thank you very much for hanging out, as always. Thank you for the points. Thank you for the resub, Marcy. Thank you for the raids, Eric and Muffin. As always, I appreciate all of you. We will be back 2 weeks from now to continue our escapades of the Tales of Murkwatch. What else? What else is there? Okay, you know what we'll go through? We'll go through. Muffin, who are you? What do you do?
Hello, it is Mr. Muffin. I stream almost daily, except tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Hi.
Shay, who are you?
I'm Huntress Marcy. I play Shay Udura, the only cleric, and I, thanks to Bean, have started streaming again. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Pandad. Mr. Panda.
I'm Sad Panda 90. I stream when I can, and yeah, playing Panda.
Mm-hmm.
The Afro Man.
Afro Man.
Mr. Pengus.
Well,
You have a nice afro.
Angus King. Just lost to a toad and
Lost to a toad. Mhm. Yep.
Yeah. I stream from Monday to Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Tiny,
And then Miss
tiny panga.
Miss Bean, Mrs. Bean.
Miss Bean, I'm the Bean, and yeah, me and Mercer streaming.
Yeah.
And I play Penenith, the adorable little druid that is growing up before your very eyes. That's it.
And
And apparently I'm being stalked by a toad. I don't know.
who knows? As we'll have the story
To
will
be
continue.
confirmed.
The story will continue. We'll maybe find out if toads really do like the adult version of Penenith. Who knows? We have a lot of secrets to uncover. We have a lot of stories to learn. Maybe we'll actually find out more about it. Who knows? We're gonna
I
let
don't suppose we woke up level 4, did we?
No.
Oh god damn it.
No. The more you ask, the more I'm gonna put it off.
Oh, come on.
The more you ask, the more I'm gonna postpone it.
And that axe at the beginning of the stream. Stop asking. We're never gonna get a fucking level.
All right, guys.
I was being serious when I.
We're level 5 now.
Yeah, level 5. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, that's a level 5 fireball that you're both gonna get next session. Thank you very much.
Hey, if we don't
we can
level,
have
he can
fireball.
add more creatures, right? So
Well,
we just. face
yeah.
the same
Just
amount
make
of
sure you
right?
guys. Yeah, just make sure that you're like in the center of all the bad guys when the fireball gets cast on you. Yeah. All right, we're gonna
Garrett
raid.
and Penenith can have fireball fights.
Yeah,
like
why not?
Mage's
Yeah.
Battle.
Why not?
Yes.
That's cool.
No,
We're-
I'm not wasting healing spells on you two. No fireball fights.
But no, her fireball is going to heal us, right?
Maybe. You don't
Your
know.
fireball's still gonna fuck him up.
Maybe.
No fireball fights.
Maybe. Okay,
I mean, you don't have to heal him.
we're gonna raid Lime Jello Monster. It's her. She's doing a birthday sub on right now. So if you want to check that out, you
Oh,
can
yeah.
follow the raid. Other than that, I will see you guys on Monday. I'm gonna start a new game on Monday, by the way.
I do.
So
I
do
know.
that.
Oh,
I
okay.
also
You
stream.
started.
I do variety stuff too. I also DM on Saturdays,
stream?
every other Saturday.
Man,
and then-
Fucking lie.
Well, listen, if more people use Tailspire, I'd maybe raid them, but they never do when I'm streaming, so it's not my fault.
It's because you're the biggest Tailspire streamer on the
Don't-
fucking platform.
That is not true. That is not true.
It's the only one that I care about.
That's horribly biased.
I don't give a shit. I'm kind of a biased person.
Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. As always, I appreciate all of you. Follow the raid if you want biddies or your points to add to the raid, to add to the community challenge. You'll get your points back because we didn't make it this week, but that's fine. It happens sometimes, and that's good. It means I can save it for next week too.
Disappointed.
Everyone's disappointed. We're allowed to be. If life teaches me anything, being disappointed is something that you have to get used to. And if you're not used to it, well, then you're spoiled. And you know what? I think you could literally use a little bit of, humbling when it comes to being spoiled. Sometimes you don't get your cake and you sometimes just don't get to eat it either. And as I say, as a message that I wanted to give to everybody here, you know what? I think next time I might set it lower. Who knows? It depends. You know what? It depends.
No, don't set it lower. That's pity points.
Yeah.
But then we level though.
We didn't level. All right.
I'm not getting a fucking level down.
I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.
Oh, right.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye, chat.
Bye.
Have fun doing chat stuff.
Got it up.
Okay, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone. Raid.